Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds. Welcome to Guy School Musical, a podcast about teenagers.
It was like we were one voice. We cried out with one voice, as they said in antiquity, Dave. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just with deep moaning and resignation.
Yeah, like it's our last chance to sing at school.
Like this is like a 3-hour epilogue. This podcast will be a 3-hour epilogue to whatever everything we've done.
We have one more.
Fuck, I keep forgetting.
Yeah, we don't have technically. So we're closing out the series, the core series.
I gotta argue. I think that fourth one's essential to understanding what's happened.
I was about to say that's sort of my thoughts too.
Yeah,
because this is really still about Sharpay, and it sounds like they finally gave her own fabulous adventure. So I think this
series was begging for that. Like she's so clearly the best character. Like it's not close. Yeah. It's not even close. A little bit. This is the movie where I finally had a theory about her. Because some things started to emerge for me.
This is the big one, and what I mean by that is this is the theatrical version. It's no longer a TV movie.
It is more legit, a lot more legit. Yeah,
I read a little bit of behind the scenes, and I will say the biggest thing about it is it's the most Utah ever wanted a movie.
Oh,
what I mean by that is Utah gave them the biggest tax break incentive they ever gave a film.
Really?
At $2 million. Yes. They were hungry for High School Musical 3.
Wait, how much?
$2 million tax break initiative.
That's like a half their budget in the previous ones.
Yeah. So
the budget Utah must have been high for this, though. I would think it was at least $10 million.
It's like $11 million.
Yeah.
I wonder, because I didn't look up where they shot the last one. I wonder if maybe Utah got scared. And they're like, no, you're not moving away from us. Well, this is it,
they
baby.
were outdoors so much in the second one that I gotta figure they were shooting in California.
There were mountains. Well, there were mountains. I guess there's mountains in Utah. Utah's gorgeous, by the way. It's a shame it's Utah.
It's a light quality issue. It's that that's one of the reasons why the film industry is in LA is that the quality of light is excellent and
we have better light.
Yeah, I mean, better it's better for movies, at least you might say,
right?
And they when you're shooting,
they had light issues in the last one.
Well, yeah, because they're shooting exteriors all day. It's like you can't match light all day. You know, like they had a couple of those in this movie too. They were less noticeable, but like that last number, that whole thing had to be shot within 2 hours, I would guess.
Right. It probably took a while. They might have just shot a bit every day. They have movie budget now, so they have that movie money. So this is bigger. It was more cinematic immediately. It has better credits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It has CGI.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, it does.
They listened to us. They listened to the last podcast, went back in time, and added the scene that we wanted in the last movie.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I gotta say. I mean, I don't think any of these stories was good. So with that in mind, this is the best one, right?
Yeah, it is. And it also is, it does get batshit. But I think so. It was exactly what we said it was going to be.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where I'm like, I'm not disappointed about that.
No,
it's just like more like they're not answering the call to go above and beyond. They're like, it's senior year. What colleges are they picking?
That's kind of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
it's about change. It's about nostalgia and sadness and change. and not wanting things to change. I'm not saying it did a good job at that, but that's what it's about, which is a very,
it really
relatable.
felt like the wedding movie in Twilight, where it's like for at least half the movie, you're like, so is there going to be a conflict, or is it just sort of a pageant of stuff?
And the
answer is kind of like, I guess there's kind of going to be a
lot of conflict that gets immediately wrapped up. It's very similar to the other ones with that,
This one felt like it wanted to be ordinary people or something. You know what I mean? Like it wanted to be like Sideways. Like there was just this sad undercurrent, and that was the conflict of the movie.
Yeah. Again, it was trying to be more artistic. Here's the thing is though, like that idea that the overall thing is about change and rite of passage, like I have to be clear, like it took me a while to even figure that out. They're not clear about those themes. And I want to just go through, I want to sum up every song real quick at the top of this.
I'm so glad.
Because I think you're right that this is the best one, but I think it's the worst one in terms of the songs.
Oh, I don't know. I don't like,
or rather,
the
what the songs represent.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the choreography and music were probably their best here. I don't know that the songs were, I don't know.
I mean more in the sense of like when we talk
what
about...
are we talking about?
Yeah, what's the point of a musical?
Yeah, right. We never did that correctly.
Yeah, there's no status quo in this one. There sort of is. So like the first song is Let's Win at Basketball. That's the song. Hey everybody, let's win at basketball. The next one is This Moment Is Nice.
Yeah.
And Change is kind of bad.
Yeah.
It's basically Things Are Great.
Yeah.
The next one is I Want Everything. I Want to Be Famous.
That
it's
song.
Like, all right.
I was like, I mean, but
that's
met
the first time it was
before.
like, right, exactly.
Like, come on, man.
Where it's like, okay, if I didn't know this character, good song explaining things. The next song is We Are in Fact Still in Love.
They have 5 of those. Like, there's a lot of those.
The next one is We're Excited for the Prom, and we're getting ready for it. The next one is I Am in Love with You Still.
Yep.
And I Just Want to Be with You.
Yeah, just want to be with you.
Yep. The next one is We Are Friends and We Exist. Nostalgia is good.
Which one is that? Is that the Junkyard one?
Junkyard.
The Junkyard one is my favorite for us to talk about. You like, okay, great.
The next one is Things Are Changing, and that makes me sad. The next one is I'm sad that the things are changing.
Yeah.
Maybe I should let them go.
Yeah.
The next one is I'm sad and things are hard.
They have a lot of sad songs in a row. I noticed that. Yeah.
And the next one is I am in fact still in love with you.
Right.
Let's dance about it.
Yeah, let's dance about it. Yeah.
And then the next one is This Is Our Last Chance to Sing at High School. And then the next one is Never Mind. Here's a high school again.
Yeah.
This is a musical about high school.
Right.
That you just
full
watched.
Meta explosion. Right.
Yeah.
Because this one really leaned into.
It was more meta.
Yeah, I mean, like at a certain point, it's like we're kind of building a Synecdoche, New York situation here.
Thank you.
We're kind of like we're sort of like everything that happens is in the musical as it's happening, but also presumably is being rehearsed and creating its own drama. It's a Euroburst of drama here.
This.
Great, thank you.
Let's talk about this because, like every fucking one we've watched, the musical numbers are fundamentally confusing about
what's the reality of it. Yes, they created some problems here. Yeah.
This time it goes back and forth. Sometimes the song is in real life, and then sometimes they're on a set, and that doesn't mean they're on the theater. Like I Want It All, that one that Sharpay does in the gym.
It was all imagined.
Starts in the gym.
Yes.
Yep, and then it's imagined on a theater set.
Yes.
Later we see that she performs that song. Ryan does.
Yes.
So they're writing it in the moment.
Yes.
But so like the song exists. Sometimes it's real, sometimes it's not. There's a scene where they're performing a song about the prom one, and it's on the set. But at this point, we have seen that that's a fantasy.
Yes.
And then it pulls out to be like, no, this is actually happening.
No, it's actually happening. Yeah, and that's
with like full pyrotechnics.
That's when Idiotech started playing in my brain. I started to get really alarmed.
Yeah.
Please continue.
But that's it. They just keep moving in and out of those because some of them are them singing in a real environment. Some are on set, but the ones on set aren't necessarily also real.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It's they're asked to put on a musical about their lives.
I think I would argue that, and I know this is like a very clever, cracked horseshit thing. I would argue that in terms of subjectivity, I think we're in Sharpay's subjectivity more than anybody else's.
Like we're seeing it through her eyes.
She's the only one that feels like we fully enter the magic dream world of musical meets reality more than like nobody else that really is happening with in the same way.
Yeah, it also still feels very Truman Showy for Troy.
No, so I thought the opposite. I thought they were Truman showing Sharpay.
Oh, okay, yeah. It feels
somebody's getting Truman showed.
Someone's getting Truman showed.
Somebody's getting Truman showed.
Yeah. There's also, and I don't know if you picked on this, there's moments that felt vaguely demonic to me. In like a conspiracy theory, Disney
demonic.
Like, we're reaching out to Satan.
Boy. I can't
their
wait
graduation
for you
robes
to highlight that. Thank you.
There's one scene that I simply don't know what I was seeing, and we'll get to that.
Great.
And it's a big note where I literally highlighted in my note where I was like, I don't know
what
this they were doing and what I just saw.
Yeah. I'm loving this preview we're giving the audience for what we're going to talk about. We never do this, but like this one did sort
overall
of,
thoughts.
Yeah. This one did sort of ask you to like step back and go, huh, what happened here? Yeah.
You know what I really appreciate? Is that a lot of movies do this when they're based on TV. This movie didn't care to introduce anything to new audiences. They knew they were going to theaters.
Yeah.
And they didn't really like Sharpay, they sort of reintroduce.
They gave her a walk-in. Yeah, but
they do the I Want It All song again, you know?
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're like, you've seen the other two.
You wouldn't come to this if you hadn't seen it. I think they're right about that.
Oh yeah, it's just that's a common thing, you know, when you make a movie based on a TV show. It was more in the 90s where they feel like they'd have to
catching you up.
Yeah, they're like, well, this is for movie people, not TV people, and it's like, no, it's not. No one's seeing the X-Files movie having not seen the X-Files.
Coincidentally,
you know?
I did see the X-Files movie without having seen the X-Files. I'm like the only one. Yeah, I was like, what's happening?
Did you
Do
follow
these
it?
two
No?
love each other?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, the answer was
but they
yes.
didn't know it yet.
Very clearly, yes. I did follow. I thought it was great. Anyway, we could talk about X-Files, Dave. You know, I'd love to. I'd love to talk about it. I've never watched it, but you know
I love to.
I know you'd love to. Yeah.
So we get opening credits, actual opening credits.
And they were nice. They were nice. They were well done.
Yeah.
And we had a cool match cut into Zac Efron, who's already wet.
Yes.
Like,
I knew you'd love this film and the wetness.
Well, there's another great moment where they wet him down.
There's another moment where I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Wetting those children down.
Hosing them down. Yes.
It was really bad this time. Like,
we'll get to it.
It wasn't as often as the second movie, but when they did it, it was like, what are we doing, man?
It was like that guy. They had to satisfy that one guy. They're like, all right. Well, I did one scene.
Well, wet him down. All right,
wet him down.
Yeah, they wet him down.
This is way more cinematic, real light.
Oh, it was way better. Yeah, way better.
Same high school, but it just felt like a different. It felt different, where it's like, all right, we're making a movie.
Now. They had. I think they were shooting on better stock. Like they were using better lenses. Like they had spent more money on lighting. It's like, okay, this is they're doing it now.
There's shadows. And this is the richest school ever. They have confetti cannons next to the scoreboard. They have a dragon puppet in the audience.
I loved the dragon puppet.
Yeah.
That was thrilling. I was excited when they discovered at halftime they were losing. Like they're losing the game. Everyone's like having a good time, but then they call half and everyone looks up and like, oh fuck, we're losing. Yes. It's like, what have you been watching the whole time? You know, like incredible.
In the locker room, I meant to note this in the last one, but I didn't want to shame him.
Yeah.
The dad keeps changing his hair.
Yeah, he does.
In every movie. And now he's slowly forming the Skeet Ulrich cut. Yep. And he's fully formed in this.
Yes, it's full Skeet Ulrich. Or it's like also full Michael from Arrested Development.
Yes.
You know.
And it's every time I saw him in a movie, I kept checking to see if it was the same actor because they just kept doing it. I hope he's in the fourth one, and I hope he has just like a Bob Ross afro or something.
I think
because it's just
pretty likely we don't see half the cast in the fourth one.
No, I think they're all
like
dead.
I think we're getting the B team for the fourth one, right?
Probably.
Like I think that girl from London we meet, she's going to feature heavily.
She
in it.
better be in it. She's diabolical. That's the one thing. So they sort of did what we wanted, and they sort of didn't, which is that I'm sick of Sharpay being the fucking villain, and they still do that. Although I would argue,
barely.
Yeah, I would argue this movie is just them devastating her for no reason.
I swear they're gassing her up.
Yeah, I'm like, why do they hate her?
They're hurting her. They've hurt her very deeply. Like
they like forgot to make her bad.
Yes,
and then there's like she just gets shit on.
Yeah, there's like no 3 minutes in this movie where her world explodes. And it's like
no one cares. No one helps.
Whoa. Yeah,
she gets so fucked over.
I mean, because they're clearly drugging her between movies, so she doesn't remember anything. That's like a big part of this story.
Yeah, you're right. It's like it's an anti-Truman Show for her. Like she's being made to suffer for something.
She doesn't remember her past. Like you ask her what happened junior year, she'd be like, "I must have been in the play. I must have been in the play."
Right,
but she doesn't remember it because she.
It's like Dark City. It's like a Dark City situation. Yeah.
So okay, wait. During the halftime speech.
Yes. Okay. So there's 3 speeches, just for the record.
Yeah. Didn't need any of them. Yeah. Didn't need.
Dad gives a speech. Then Troy gives a sub speech.
Yeah.
He just recaps what his dad just said, and then he hands it over to Chad to do a pump up speech,
like Chad,
where he just makes some noises.
By the way, and like, I think Chad is actually having the more interesting movie in some ways.
Yeah.
Like, I think Chad is actually grappling with his future, like not wanting to deal with it, and is actually losing the girl he likes. Like he's having the movie that this movie wants us to care about.
For sure.
You know?
No. I mean, Troy, it's once again just like fucking straight line with Troy. No problems. Fine. He's good at everything.
Yeah, he's fine. I didn't hate him. He was not. There wasn't much for him to do. There wasn't much for Vanessa Hudgens to do either. Like they really kind of bailed on any drama with those two.
Their big song, they like cut away to other scenes while they're singing.
Oh yeah, well because there's nothing in it. It's you know,
where they're like, you get it. They're singing. They're in love.
I was thrilled when we were cutting to like remember all the characters. Like that coach's speech was also like reintroducing the characters briefly, like who they are, and then we cut to just some guy with a red skull tattoo on his skull. Like,
Rocket Man.
No, it's before Rocket Man. It was just some other Dennis Rodman sound-alike. Okay. And it was like, it's clearly dyed his hair, but it was weird because it looked like his hair was very short. And it was like, so did you get a tattoo on your head of the Wildcat paw? That's not gonna.
So. Yeah, they're way too into it.
Like
they're way too into. Like,
I want to go. That's not gonna be good for you.
I want to tell these characters, like, you have no idea how much more life you have.
Yeah.
It's not the Wildcats don't matter, man. And the speeches, you have 16 minutes left to be a team ever.
Yeah, right.
And it's literally him being like, no pressure, but here's all the pressure ever.
Yeah.
And he just says, like, you motherfuckers, you have 16 more minutes and then you're gone from this school. Are you going to fuck it up or are you going to be great about it? That's essentially the speech.
Yeah. They're trying to couch it as though it's sentimental, but really putting that time on it is like holding a knife to a kid's throat.
Yes.
It's really dark. It's like
really dark and they're not happy.
It's like, enjoy this last 16 minutes. You're losing by 20.
Yeah.
You know, like,
your life is slipping through your fingers and you're going to fall on your dicks.
No one's going to remember your names. You're going to be erased from the books of life, my friends.
Time is a fire in which we all burn. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was, I don't think I think it was supposed to come off as sort of like cheerful and nice. And it wasn't that. No, it was pretty grim.
I feel like his dad has had a real dark journey because his son, who he had, and it's not his son's fault, but he had some plans for his son.
Yeah.
And like, clearly that's not the plans that are happening.
We got a real The Chosen situation going on between father and son here, you know?
And this movie basically starts by going like, all right, we're done with basketball. No more basketball.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Other than, what school will he attend?
Yes.
You know?
So we have the basketball song, and they seem to be genuinely having a hard time to singing and playing basketball.
I mean,
I was
they're
like,
not
do one,
compatible.
one.
Yeah, they're not compatible. You watched him like try to get a layup and then hit a song. It's like you didn't do either of those.
Yeah,
like,
they foul his ass. Yeah, he looks like his face is contorted the whole time.
Yeah.
Like this is hard.
Yeah, this is asking a lot, actually.
Yep.
They reveal right as they're about to take the winning shot, hey, let's turn it over to Rocket Man.
Okay, so is Rocket Man new?
Yes, he's new.
Okay, because they act like he's not. He's just in this film.
He comes in real heavy.
Hey guys, it's your friend Rocket Man, and everybody knows Rocket Man, and they never say like, here's the new kid, the younger class.
Yeah.
I was like, did I get Mandela affected? Like, am I supposed to know Rocket Man?
I can't tell you how disappointed I was in who Rocket Man turns out to be.
He's Poochie.
There's a good 5 seconds where I'm like, what? He is Poochie. That's a pretty good analogy. I was like hoping it would actually be Elton John or just anybody down there. Like,
I was
who
thinking,
could it be? I'm excited.
Yeah, when they're like, let's have Rocket Man go. I was hoping it was just like a guy with a gun, like a 40-year-old guy with a gun. He's like, I'm Rocket Man.
Do I burn some now?
Yeah. They act like he's going to do something amazing, and he's called Rocket Man.
No, he just is going to get a close two shot, barely.
Yeah. That's the joke, obviously,
right.
Is like you think Rocket Man's going to do something cool, and the idea is he's like no one's paying attention to Rocket Man, but it feels like he's like Troy's project, like he's like an exchange student or something. Like they act like he's like Troy's pet in this, where Troy's like, you're going to be the new Troy.
Yeah, he's like exactly. He's the understudy in all senses, right? He's the next prophet, you know. I love his the fact that he becomes immediately just you can't stand him. Like after this event, he becomes intolerable in every way for the rest of the movie, and I love it. I like that.
Yeah, he's like stoner coded, I want to say.
A little bit. Yeah.
But he's like Scooby-Doo,
he's edgelord Troy. You know, like he's not likable. Yeah.
He's like wearing glasses. At the end, he's dressed like a drag queen Kid Rock at one point.
Yeah.
Like he's just he's insufferable. And he just sort of, it's like he's the producer's son or something. He just bulldozes into this film like we're supposed to know who he is.
Yeah.
They win. No conflicts there. They turn it all around.
Fine. They scored 40 points in a half in 16 minutes. Just to be clear, there were 60 points scored in the second half. Well,
incredible game.
Yeah,
incredible
best half
game
of basketball you'll ever see, far and away. You know.
So they celebrate.
Also, I got to be honest. I was just a little annoyed. They had him doing warm-ups after the half, and I was like, "Do people do warm-ups after the half?" I don't think they do.
The first half is a warm-up, right? I assume
they come out and they're like in warm-ups. When did they put them on? And they're doing they're doing layups at the drill. It's like, no, let's restart the game. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it does not feel like the person who wrote or directed this sequence understands basketball.
It bothered me. I was bothered. They also fixed the scoreboard from the first movie.
Oh, good. I was going to ask.
So I wasn't unclear about what the score was.
So they celebrate.
Yeah, they celebrate with a huge party, 500 people maybe.
I want to start with the opening shot, which is Troy. His truck is broken down, and him and his friends are pushing
truck
because he's poor. He pulls his truck in front of his Playboy mansion that has a fully catered and DJ'd party. It really feels like this was made by billionaires who don't know what poor people are.
Like
where they're like, he can only afford one popcorn machine.
How much money does that house cost? Honestly,
that house is millions of dollars, right?
If it was in LA, that house would be $20 million. Like in that neighborhood. If it's in Utah today.
Well, it's in Albuquerque, right?
Albuquerque. Okay.
So it's like what, a 5-bedroom?
Oh, at least
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
It's huge though. It's they got verandas and shit. It's a massive house.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at houses on Zillow.
Yeah, thank you. That's what we should be doing. Yeah.
It's definitely worth a few million. I would say looking at these, it's hard to tell because I'm looking at houses about the same size. They're like $1 million and 1.2 million. like that around.
In Albuquerque?
Here's one for 1.6. That's it has a basketball court.
Yeah, the backyard's huge in this.
It could be almost 2 million looking at some of these. It's hard to tell.
I got news for you. You put that treehouse he's got in LA, that treehouse is $2 million.
The treehouse is like bigger than some apartments.
It's magnificent.
It has an automatically opening roof, skylight.
Yeah, it's like a convertible treehouse.
Yeah.
That offended me. I was offended by that.
I don't understand what they want us to think Troy is, because they keep being like, "Oh, look at him with his," and then later they're like, "Look at Sharpay with her cool car. She's much richer."
It's a Honda.
and it's like, is she though? It seems like Troy. The only thing about Troy that's poor is that he opted to have a beater, a beat up, fix him up truck. And they keep showing it of like, look how little he has at his mansion party with DJs and popcorn machines and a full, like, I assume that treehouse has plumbing. It's just like, it's so weird.
That party's
it's like they don't understand.
That party's got to cost $50,000, right? Yeah, like that's a $50,000 party. It just look at it. There's like trampolines and shit.
There's a fucking trampoline there.
Yeah, it's everything, right? Like that treehouse. No, I mean, like, I'm kind of doing bits, but I'm kind of not. I bet that treehouse costs $50 to $100,000 to put up.
Yeah, it's a big treehouse.
It's really big. There's a deck.
Yep,
it's got a fucking deck.
It just feels like this was made by people who are just part of like old money, who just have never seen an average house their entire life. That's what it feels like, where they're like, kids have tree houses, right? And they're like, well, how many rooms does a tree house have? Like 3? Yeah, it's probably like a 3-4 bedroom.
Yeah, in the downstairs section. Yeah, when you get the upstairs part, you got a whole living room
it's
up there.
The fucking Arrested Development.
Right.
Was a banana cost.
Right.
Like, it feels like that.
Yeah, it really does. Or counterpoint, the director tells the production designer, listen, we need a treehouse, and they're like, well, we're working for Disney. So this thing's got to be fucking, this thing's got to be built out. Like, because the treehouse was the equivalent of that whole section of Frontierland if you go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Where you're walking up, and you're learning about Robinson Crusoe and shit.
Yeah, exactly. The Swiss Family fucking treehouse. Right? Yeah.
It's like that elaborate and amazing, They just got Disney.
It's like maybe they're just siphoning as much money from Disney. So they like read on the script like Troy and his like modest house. And they're like, yeah, right. Yeah. They'll make it modest.
Let's see if Walt lets that happen.
Yeah, exactly.
No chance.
Like there is like, people are probably aware of the idea that like you look at like the show Friends and you're like, they work at a coffee
Nobody
shop.
can't
afford them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I understand that that's a thing. This is taken to such a degree that you can't ignore it that same way. Like you can't hand wave it the way you hand wave that. He has a fucking mansion. Poochie shows up and goes, great house, bro. Your room is way cool. Because he took a picture in his room. He
was in his room.
Reason.
Yeah. What was Poochie doing in the room is another question.
But they have people go like, your house is amazing.
Well,
so I don't know why.
Yeah. What are we saying? Right. It's Friends manages to like keep the economic issues in the background, right? Like whenever they need money, Chandler pays for something. So like it's just a thing you don't think about, right? And it's funny to think about it. This movie keeps foregrounding it, as you're saying.
Right. And it's not just this.
No.
It's the school itself is like, they seem to think the high school has everything. There's later there's Gabrielle's house and her life. They seem to not know. That's the thing, is like from top to bottom, it seems like they don't know what it means to be a kid getting into college. And like this, they don't seem to have any sense of finances. Sharpay and Ryan are fighting for a scholarship.
Yeah, I couldn't understand that.
Why
would they give a shit about a scholarship?
Right. But they don't, that's what I mean. It's like it's made by a fucking alien.
Right.
And it's stuff where like, I don't want to skip ahead, but like, they seem to think that when a student goes away to college, their family moves.
Yeah. I was like, so what? They packed up their life in a week?
They just sold their house.
What does their mother do? Yeah. Who is their mother work for?
She gets into college before she graduates high school and has to go back to the graduate. It's that. It's like, this is alien shit.
Yeah,
like this is not how the world works.
Didn't make sense.
And so it's we'll get to that.
They're all working for Madrigal, by the way. I think that's the only Madrigal, the German front company for the blue meth and Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
That's
right.
what's happening here.
It's gotta be.
It's the only way. And I definitely want to talk about that junkyard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right. We're in the mansion treehouse. Yeah. He says it's his top secret hiding place. And I'm like, you can't hide from anything in that thing. You can see that from space.
Yeah. It's visible. It's visible to all air traffic, buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
He says, you're the second girl I brought here. The other was my mom. And it was like,
is that cute? I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. I didn't like it.
He shows her his wheel, his pirate wheel, and his automatic skylight, and they sing.
I had a real problem with they started to set up the premise in the movie, and here it is. If only we could slow down senior year.
She's going to Stanford. We hear that too.
But just to be clear, they're like wishing they weren't graduating soon. And I have to say, false. Not one senior ever has felt this way. Like,
again, it's from the first movie where the first song is "We're so excited to go into high school," and it's like it's the again aliens. These kids don't want they should be like, we're excited to graduate, but we're sad that we're going to different schools, and this song could be about it's sad. Like this should have been in summer probably. This whole thing or something where it's like, this is our last time, because they go she immediately hops from one school to the next.
It's weird. They should have graduated at the midpoint of this movie. That would have been more interesting, I think.
But this should be them saying this is our last span of time together, and we're sad about that and this moment, and they're sort of doing that. Also, by the way, he's looking right down the barrel of the camera in some of this scene. Did you notice that?
Yes. Yeah. They had a couple of
it was weird
things they should have done again. Takes they should have kept. That happened a few times. Nothing.
And it's purposely steeped in his nostalgia, right? His old toys and stuff. So that's where it's like the nostalgia is starting.
But what's he nostalgic for?
Background. That's the thing. Is if this was more of a clearer thing about that's the thing is at that age they are at. I agree. I was excited to go to college and move on and become an adult. But it's that nostalgia is more when you're older, where it's you think about how much easier it was to be a kid.
This is the problem with every high school movie, but this franchise in particular is that it's never nobody remembers what it's like to be in high school. Nobody wants to be in high school. High school, everyone's miserable in high school on some level, even if you're doing well there.
I get the nostalgia for being I'll miss my childhood, everything. I'm going to go away from home. I'm sad that I'm leaving home.
Sure.
And I'm sad that apparently we're all required by law to pack up our entire house and move to wherever I go to school.
I'm sad by being in the witness protection program, and it's over now.
The conflict is Gabrielle's going to college, and it's my first thought was that happens. You go to college, you come back every summer, you reconnect. It's a little long distance for a little while, but you make it work. College isn't, there's obviously the trope of people go to college, they move, they drift apart. I get it.
Yeah, but you have to do that movie.
Yes, but the stakes are she's just leaving. She's leaving forever the town.
Right.
Yeah.
She's being shot out of a cannon and she can't look back.
Yeah. Her whole family is leaving. So it's I guess those are high stakes now that she's apparently can never come back.
Yeah, that actually isn't clear until about an hour and 15 minutes into this movie, though.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it make sense here.
Right. Because at first I was I get it. But they're treating it like it's huge. And I get it. They're young, but.
Right. So they're nostalgic up there. She makes a comment about pirates inviting us to imagine all the money they could have spent to deck that treehouse even further.
That's what I was gonna say. Whereas there's no pirate theme in the treehouse.
There could have been.
So the wheel is inappropriate, but whatever, it's fine.
You're mad about? Oh, you're mad about that.
I'm mad about that.
I agree.
I was why is there a pirate wheel?
Consistent.
It's a tree. If it was a tree ship, if it was designed like a pirate ship, but it was designed like a house.
And
then they just added a pirate?
What if when the convertible roof the convertible roof collapses, out comes more tree, like it's a
that would be cool,
like it's a
like
sail.
Yeah.
You know, then are you satisfied with what he's done? Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I don't know if the movie did this to us. We're also being racist against boats. That wheel doesn't necessarily mean it's a pirate ship.
That's true.
That's just a boat wheel.
I think that's probably classist. I don't think pirate is a race of boats.
I was talking the ships, the races of ships.
I don't think pirate's also not a class or race of ship, Dave.
I guess
I'm
you're
sorry,
right.
I don't mean
by
to
definition,
no butting your bit.
No, you're right
Yeah.
though. By definition, a pirate ship is whatever ship they pirate.
It's a zombie. Yeah. It's a zombie ship. It's a zombie man of war or whatever.
You're right.
You know, like that's all a pirate ship is. And if only we'd have had a pirate number of him talking about how he built the treehouse or whatever, I would have been thrilled by that. Huge missed opportunity. His mom intrudes with the line.
She gets her lines.
Troy, you have guests. And it's like all that we would have done at Crack to punch that line up is Troy, you have hundreds of guests.
Yeah,
like
you have a party. She acts like his aunt is over to see him. Right. And it's like, no, why does she care? It's a gigantic party.
Right.
She's probably in panic mode.
Yeah.
She's like checking all the bathrooms, making sure no one's getting a handy, just making sure there's no one smoking weed, just like everything's getting destroyed.
Yeah.
She's paying the clown and the DJ and the fucking caterers.
Yeah, they were like, bad choice to lead with the clown. Yeah, it is catered.
You see? Yeah.
Yeah. That's, and even if it was catered by like Chipotle or whatever, that's not a cheap evening.
No.
Getting those burrito bowls and stuff, that's not cheap.
Yeah.
Troy,
your guests.
Troy, you have guests.
You have guests.
Yeah. That line really killed me. So then we cut right into welcome back Sharpay.
Right? Yeah.
Who I'm not going full troll and being like I'm rooting for her, but like
I'm rooting for her.
Yeah, okay. I thought
genuinely.
I thought you might. She just is more fun than anybody else in this movie.
Yeah. I guess she got a glow up. Is that what they're implying? Because guys are losing like blood to their heads.
No, so that's where
she walks through the halls and everybody is suddenly like having trouble looking at her. They're fainting.
Yeah, men are fainting. They had a butt shot that was like, maybe don't do that in your children's movie.
Right. I assume she's now, the actress is probably well into her maybe her
they're
20s.
Old enough. They were always old
but
enough.
But I'm like, I'm with you where I'm like, she's supposed to be a high school.
If they're supposed to be in high school, don't do it. If you're a Disney movie, like if you're doing like Freaks and Geeks or whatever, like we have more range there because it's a deeper human experience.
There are like you watch Bob's Burgers and Tina's obsessed with teenage boys' butts, but it doesn't feel predatory and weird because it's about how teenagers are weird perverts.
Right.
And so it's like that where it's like, this is for us, the audience, check her out.
Don't do it. Don't.
That's what's creepy.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
Check out this hot teen. And I'm like, no,
I don't want to do that. I'm not into that. That was weird. So then so this is where it's like, whose Truman Show is this?
She goes to her double locker.
She has a double locker. I enjoyed the double locker. That was fine. Which means, by the way, she had to pay somebody to rewire to rehinge that locker.
Apparently, that locker is still there. The pink locker is still in the high school because they like it. But
why not?
She paid someone to paint a special locker for her. This is the only time she seems privileged.
Yes, in this lockers, movie, you mean? Yes.
Yeah, that are interconnected.
Yes.
So she had someone saw out the middle of these lockers and make one custom locker. And I guess paid more for it.
Okay.
In her lair. And this is where we meet her British assistant.
Yeah, the British assistant who is already at the school applying for a job as assistant. A job that
I can't wait to talk about what her plan is. But yes, she's like, I'm going to be your assistant. And she's an exchange student.
I guess she's an exchange
British.
student.
I don't know.
Her previous circumstances.
I was unclear.
Like, again, this is a never been kissed situation where it's like somebody asked one question about where this woman comes from.
Yes.
Like,
because she shows up and is like, I'm your assistant. And I was like, did her dad pay for her to be here? She's British. So I wrote down, I bet she's the secret villain because Disney hates the British.
They do.
And so
they do hate the British. Yeah. Well, and you were a little right. This movie doesn't have a villain. The villain is just time, right? Like
time and ambition.
And ambition.
Yeah.
I guess you could call it that. I need to slow us down for one quick thing, right? So like this is I can't have this. It's infuriating.
That's fair.
And they're doing this. So we start the movie. She walks up and sees Troy and acts as though she's still trying to get with him. And this shit has been going on for 3 movies. And it's like
read the fucking room, Sharpay.
Sure. I don't even want to get mad at Sharpay. I'm now mad at the filmmakers because it's like, you can't sell me this shit anymore. You can't.
Right. There's no will they, won't they. And they do it again with later there's the threat of them doing a duet. And it's like, but why are we so scared? Why do we think that if they have a duet, they're going to get pregnant? Like that's how they treat it, where it's like duets are death.
Well,
by the end I was writing like, just let him do it.
Just let him do a duet with her. It seems
honestly
like, why not?
That would be and it would be really kind of satisfying at this point.
I agree.
If they did a really good duet and Gabrielle's like, I'm not jealous, man. It's fun.
It's also a song, like we'll learn another one tomorrow. That's what's required of us.
Right. Just give her a fucking duet.
I think that tells you again, Sharpay is the only one that's capable of altering reality with the metaphysics of things. Yeah. Because that's the danger. Also, the fact that she doesn't know that Troy is dating Gabriella, or like the fact that she's still doing this. No, I think she doesn't understand it. Like it won't penetrate her brain.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, okay, so this is like a short-term memory problem, or like
you're right. She's forgetting.
Lenny. Yeah. That's why I was like, this is a Truman Show. They're all putting this shit on for her because like she can't accept reality.
It's fucking 51st dates. They're 51st dating her. Okay. She's in a time loop.
Yeah.
She wakes up every morning and doesn't realize that time has passed.
That's what I think. Day. Because like in the end, when we get the epilogue, spoilers, I guess, like she's going to like the local U, and she's helping the drama teacher out, which is definitely the kind of gig that's like, oh, so she's not that capable or good at drama or right.
Or she's like, it's weird because you think about how this started, where she was the drama club, and like you forget that she has a positive relationship with that teacher. So it's like maybe she wanted to do this. Maybe she was like, I want to stay local because this is where my family has power, and she wants to get into Juilliard. That's the whole fucking thing.
But no, she wants a scholarship to Juilliard, not admittance to Juilliard. That's a different issue.
I guess she just wants the recognition.
That's where I'm, and I think the scholarship turns out to be a massive MacGuffin in so many ways. Like even in the world of the movie, like not just in the way the movie is structured, but in the world of the movie.
Yeah, she's gonna have a fabulous adventure next, and I hear that's about her getting kind of discovered. So it's like I think good things are gonna happen to her, but like again, they just keep edging her and her talent, her career, where it's like, I don't know why she can't get a fucking break. And at the end, you're right. She goes to the local college, and it's like, we know she's not bad. Like maybe she's not a great actress, but she's good at singing and dancing. So
what do we actually know? I feel
like her family's rich. So if she wanted to get into Juilliard, she
would have gotten into Juilliard. That's where it's like her epilogue is kind of dark, I would think. Like given her resources and stuff,
it's hard to tell, because even if she didn't have talent, she could buy her way into Juilliard.
Like, who do you think gets better grades, her or Troy? Who gets better grades?
Troy.
Okay, all right. I think that's debatable, but fair enough.
I think she's probably good at grades. Don't get me wrong. I don't think she's a dummy, but I think she doesn't care as much. Like, she's probably smarter than Troy. Troy just tries harder. I think
it's possible that Sharpay has always been like they've been sort of like not gaslighting, but sort of like sure, you're doing great, Sharpay. Like that's the vibe that's always been true of this world, because for her to end at the local U is astounding, an astounding fall from ambition.
Yeah, I mean, there's that stereotype of like the coolest kids in high school end up not doing anything, which isn't necessarily true, but it's like, it's that idea of if high school is where you've peaked or where you're focusing the most. But she has genuine ambition. She's not trying to party. So it's like,
allegedly,
it's weird. Right. But I think it is treasure. You're right, because it feels like what happens is everybody fucks her over.
Yep.
She gets fucked over by the end. And this series so far is 3 movies about Sharpay being kind of shitty. And then as a response, everybody she knows systematically ruins her life. And that's it. That's
it's
her.
more about
that's
that than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most dramatically satisfying thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she threw a rock and then they shot her with 1,000,000 guns.
Right.
That's what's happened.
She, like, her scheme this time is kind of harmless in a lot of ways.
Her scheme is just to tell Troy that Gabrielle is going to Stanford early, something that he might have already known. She literally says, "Oh, you didn't know?" Like, that's it. That's her scheme, is to tell him something that he was going to learn anyway.
That he should have already known. Her scheme didn't make any sense. Like,
with the hope that maybe it will devastate them. And then she says, like, you're slowing her down. And Troy should know at this point, I'm not going to listen to you, Sharpay. You're the Joker.
Right.
But like, that's her plan. It's nothing.
Wouldn't you have loved to see some scene after all this shit where Sharpay is like, "Listen, can we get coffee with Troy?" And they get coffee, and she's like, I really wanted to sing with you. I really admire you. I thought we'd do well together. Like, it's not a romantic thing even so much. I think we could really, get something done. Like, I already had our little imp write an entire musical.
Yeah. My sex brother. Or no, the other one, the composer.
Yeah, I got the composer and my sex brother. They've written everything. Just be in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll pay you or whatever. Like, Troy's not saying no to that. Troy's like, all right, sure. Fine.
Troy's a golden retriever. Yeah. Like, that's his character. Is he's just like, golly gee, I'm just trying to do the best thing. Yeah. And occasionally break out in emo dances when I'm sad.
Yeah.
That's it.
Not enough in this movie. Nothing will ever top the running in the golf course. I think that's the peak of the series.
That's 100%.
Yeah. Greatest
because
moment.
they have too much money in this one. They do what we say they should have done in that one.
Yeah. It made the movie too good. Like, this movie's a little too good. It makes me mad.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it should have been worse.
It's still a fever dream.
Yeah. I know.
So we have British assistant. I wrote her name somewhere, but I'm not looking it up.
I'm sorry, one last thing about Sharpay that I wrote down that I think is important.
Yeah.
She blows a kiss to Troy, and Troy catches it.
Yes.
Like, he catches it, and it's like, okay, so now you're leading her on, bro.
That's why I was like, what happened? Like, because she looked the same, but it's like this va-va-voom, check out Sharpay moment.
Right.
Like, oh, she really, I don't know, filled out in the summer kind of moment is what they seem to be doing.
Like. Yes. Correct.
And even Troy is like, damn. But I'm like, I don't know what is different about her. So
it's like, they all hallucinated over the spring break or whatever, and like,
right.
She came back and they're like, oh yeah, right, yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it's spring break. I don't know when it is. They should have had a song about how it was the best summer ever.
But it's not. It's like the end of the school year.
Yeah.
It's prom.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
Like,
so it's like
April?
It's not like there was a break. Yeah.
Yeah, weird. It's very strange. The catching of the kiss is a mistake because now he's leading her on a bit, and that's like not cool.
And it doesn't make sense for anybody.
It doesn't make any sense for anybody. Yes, okay. We can continue now.
So the British lady and Poochie, and this is his name. Still didn't write his name. He's like a fucking Ninja Turtle, Rocket Man.
Yeah.
It really did get like undercover cop vibes off of him and the British lady.
Big time.
Because they're just there. We get Maniac Teacher's back. The theater teacher. She has a throne this time.
There's a very funny moment where Rocket Man is like hey man, can I have your locker to Troy? And Troy's like, all right, sure. And then he's like, oh man, tardy again. Like when the bell rings, and he walks over, and some fucking golf pro is over there handing out demerits. The guy's like in khakis, and like he just is like, that's not a school administrator. What are you doing? Please, I'm sorry, I just had to notice that.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
If you call it out when you see it.
Yeah.
Rocket Man feels like he's going to be a dark character because he's already took pictures of Troy's room.
Yeah.
He won't leave him alone. And I'm like, is this going to go really bad?
Yeah.
Because it feels, and all the spoilers, nothing really of note happens with him. other than he gets to sing and dance.
I would argue
we'll get to it.
He was gonna sing a white female.
Yes,
Troy. That's what he was gonna do. Like
it really felt like it.
Yeah, he was gonna dress up as Troy in his room and be like, "I'd fuck me," right?
Yeah.
Like that was happening, and then one day
That was
come in and call himself Troy and see. What
it would have been
happens.
amazing. All right, same movie. Don't change a thing.
Don't change anything.
Only every few scenes cut to Troy sleeping and a shot of Rocket Man just watching
Just
him
looking at
silently. Yeah.
Like that's how he sleeps.
And then continue the scenes.
Like practicing how he sleeps. You know what I mean? Like just that's how he does it. That's how he does it. I would have loved that. That would have been a great movie. The
teacher has a throne like the beginning of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the intro.
Yeah.
She's
yeah.
It's so weird because I get it. It's different sets. Like we never really broke this down so by the way, this isn't apparently theater class.
It's homeroom.
That means
right?
It's homeroom.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That was unclear to me. Yeah.
This is homeroom, and their homeroom run by the theater teacher has erected her own mini stage. That's what's happened.
Yes.
Instead of a desk.
Yes,
it's I don't know if it's heightened reality.
She's like a virus that's like infected that room.
Yes.
Like she's like the fungus in The Last of Us, but with drama.
It's like a Terry Gilliam film.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Because they never explain why it is. It's this heightened reality where her side of the room, one side's a classroom and the other side is just a decorated stage.
Yeah.
And she's in a throne this time.
They don't explain why she insists on calling things musicale.
No.
And I need that. Like because it was never a joke. And then at some point she says brava instead of bravo. And I was so mad. I was so angry.
Just talk normal.
Just what are you doing? Like, that's not a bit.
They could be showing her. It's there's
Who's
so many
being
characters.
Tricked? Everyone's being tricked in this movie. Somebody's being
Everybody.
tricked.
Again, it could just be like an experimental town where like there are multiple people are being Truman showed. And the town is trying to see if they can, like they're leaking gas into the town all the time.
Oh no, this is blue meth. They're all on blue meth. And like this is one extended montage in Breaking Bad, right? Like that's what this is. That's what's happening here. Okay. What's the name of the smart girl who goes to Yale? What's her name?
Someone goes to Yale in this?
Yeah.
Oh, the friend.
Yeah, the friend.
I fucking forget. Okay. I don't remember most. I tried to write down more names.
It was hard.
Like I keep calling the composer, and I think her name. So Tiara is the name of the British lady.
I won't ever know that, unfortunately.
Because she's British.
Yeah.
I had the composer's name written somewhere, and I had. Is she
Taylor.
the one who's into Chad? Taylor
McKessie. Yeah, Taylor McKessie. Yeah. So Taylor is wearing a cardigan vest, right, and then a tie. Like she's wearing a little preppy tie, and I this is when I remembered high schoolers don't dress up for high school.
Is she the same person that I flagged this later, and I think it was her? She was wearing a steampunk tie.
Yes. Yeah. They keep putting her in ties like that's her look.
That's her look.
It's like I had to go back and remember, like I had to go flashback to high school and remember everyone in high school wears sweats. Nobody wants to be there. It's like they dress like they're barely slouching out of bed in the morning. Nobody dresses up like this.
No, this movie is, and it's kind of wild that it is this, because this movie I'm about to reference happened a long time ago. It's unironic Clueless.
Yes, it is unironic Clueless. Correct.
It's like and like in Clueless, you remember Brittany Murphy shows up and she's dressed normal.
Right.
And she's like, oh my God, you all dress. And the idea is like in this it's Zoolander. It's this idea that there's a world where everybody dresses up. But it's unironic, which is so wild for like 2007 to not be aware of this idea of like, again, it feels like it was made by rich aliens.
That's why I'm frustrated with the speech at the end about how we eliminated these divisions between these groups.
Yeah.
As though
they didn't.
It's like, no, you didn't. You made something that's not that humans can't recognize.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah.
This is the richest fucking school.
It's insane.
Because the lunch special is New York Deli. They have themed lunch specials that are like decked out. We see it later, and they're eating like deli food. This is the fucking richest town in school
Yeah.
that ever
With
existed.
like little parfaits. Like
Yes.
with whipped cream and cherries.
They
and
try
stuff.
to do a thing where, Sharpay has like a better lunch or something, and it's like it's the same fucking lunch.
Yeah, just with like napkins.
more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has nicer napkins. They are nice napkins. I never got one of those in high school. I agree that it is nicer. Can you explain to me what happened in homeroom with Sharpay and the composer?
Okay.
Sharpay, like, can you explain
I wrote this
what
down.
that was?
I literally went on Wikipedia.
Okay,
because I
you
was,
didn't
like,
understand
not
either.
sure, too.
Okay, great.
What happened? And this is where the follow Sharpay happens, where I'm like, everybody's just fucking her over.
Yeah.
She won't stop getting fucked over.
Yep.
So it's homeroom.
Yep.
The teacher's like, there is an end of school play, and nobody wants to be in it, Troy included. And that's a big thing I want to note, because Troy's arc is people going, you want to sing and dance, and he doesn't. And even he's at the end like, I want to sing and dance. And I'm like, I feel like you've been gaslit into thinking that.
Yeah.
Because Troy doesn't want to, Gabrielle doesn't want to, nobody wants to do the musical. And Sharpay says, that's okay. I'll do a one-woman show. And then the composer signs everybody up, the homeroom up.
Oh, that's what
why
happened.
everybody goes like, oh, yay. And everybody's sad. So there was no conflict. Basically, everybody's like, we don't want to do it. Sharpay's like, that's fine. I'll do it because I want to do it. And then the composer went, no, I'm going to make it so that everybody does it, and Sharpay doesn't get what she wants. Just let her do her fucking show and get her Juilliard scholarship.
Does the composer have to do the music? Is that what it is? Because like I do, like
She's basically like, she says like, I'm sick of it being the Sharpay show. And I'm like, when has it been? We've never seen it be the Sharpay show. You've butted into every single one of her productions. It's never been.
That's
this
funny to
idea.
me. I kind of would have loved the scene where they all like everyone shows up around the piano, and then the composer's like, "Listen, you fucks, how much music have I written for all of you? You're doing this show. You're doing it. I need this Juilliard scholarship. This is what I've been working for 6 fucking years." And they're like, all right, cool.
You're completely fucking right.
Yeah.
They keep forgetting where like, again, I'm so sick of Sharpay being the villain.
Right.
And like, I just want them to one point have a common goal. And if this started with her going, because I do like spoilers that the composer 100% like Juilliard is like, obviously you.
It
like
had to
she's
be them.
immediately
100%. It was
they are
so
a
clear.
genius.
Yeah.
They are the Beethoven of their time.
Yes. No,
they're composing songs.
By the way, this whole movie could have been eliminated by an audition.
Yeah. Again, once again, they don't understand how this stuff works, right? Which is that Juilliard doesn't come to high school.
Nope. Juilliard doesn't scout. What are we talking about? Like, just get a film of it. Let them watch it. That's it. That's the whole process.
I famously went to performance art school, and they did a tryout.
Yeah.
They did tryout, and you go there and you try out, and it's organized.
Yeah.
They don't have scouts going across country.
I would
being like, we've heard of you, Troy. And I'm like, how did you hear of Troy?
No, you didn't. Yeah. What are you talking about? Heard of him. It would thrill me, Dave. Absolutely thrill me to discuss that audition. How your audition
It was a video.
Went. Okay. What'd you do? Can we talk about this?
So the way this school worked is that very smartly, they didn't just want performers. They wanted people who aspired to be behind the scenes.
Okay, great.
So I didn't have to act or dance or sing. Some people did that. I was already making short films, and I just played a short film.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, heroes are forged for their time, Dave.
It wasn't as exciting as what you were imagining.
I was hoping. I wanted it to be like this. That's what I wanted. I didn't get it.
But I love later, by the way, we're skipping around where he comes on stage and the Juilliard people nudge each other and they go, that's Troy.
That's him. That's the Troy. I've heard of him.
That's the famous Troy. Who we're not going to accept. We're not going to give.
Would you? Based on what you saw?
The scholarship. Yeah.
Like,
no, I guess not.
All he did is Roberto Benigni across some chairs.
You're right.
I wasn't thrilled by it. Also,
you're right.
He does the same song they just heard. They played the song twice.
He's like, here's the song, but my version.
What?
But this is why they ultimately they fuck over Sharpay by like taking her thunder here.
Yeah.
Because so and they fuck her over here because basically they're like, we're all, but you're right. So going back to the composer, I want a plot where it's just like, hey, I personally want to get into Juilliard. No one else has that aspiration. Let's all help her. She's been so good for us.
Right.
Let's put on her play.
Right. And also,
that would have been a great conflict.
If they'd failed her a bit, like if they're like, well, we're
Yeah.
high schoolers, we're not very good. And she has to be like, I've done all this for you. Like,
I think we
want
the same thing. She's been one of the more compelling characters that's been in the background.
Totally.
That I'm like, I would have loved to see like her family life, like a reveal that she like lives in a fucking shithole, or like,
of course,
that she's really struggling. She's this genius. Like, I wanted some reveal where everybody goes like, she's been here this whole time, and she's been helping us, and she needs this thing. That would have been genuinely touching.
It would have been, because she is kind of a Mozart figure, right? Like,
we should write these.
Oh, Dave, I honestly,
yeah.
If they came and were like, you have to write High School Musical 5 or whatever it is,
I'd write it.
I'd write it too.
Yeah,
I know. But can you imagine like the looks we'd have to give each other thinking of this? We have to think of it.
I feel like, and we'd write the songs. Maybe.
Can you imagine?
Listen, I think we'd be very satisfied, but it's possible that we'd do such a bad job that they'd execute us.
What's the song in the junkyard, Dave? You and I are composing it together.
Oh my God. The junkyard that they've always gone to.
The junkyard they've always gone to.
We'll get to it. Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable.
Fucking believable.
Deeply unbelievable.
So they're doing a play. We hear that Juilliard is going to show up. And they only have to pick one person.
Yeah,
Ryan
one scholarship.
Ryan is the only character who felt like they continued his arc. He's a little liberated from his sister lover. He's still not fully, but he's more like he pushes back.
He's done with her. I think he's polite, but he's done with her. That's what we get by the end of the film.
Yeah. And Sharpay wants it all.
Yeah, we get into a song of that, and then cut to she wakes up and it's lunch. And that was the first time I was like, okay, so there's some mind games going on here.
She's like singing it during lunch or something because they're both. Yeah, I want to note because her fantasy, which we are to believe is a fantasy, not a stage play. Again, it's confusing. There's two things happening, and this is why it's confusing. One, it's very low class, and what I mean is like she imagines taking a plane, and it's like 70s. Yeah. It's like a 70s plane. Yeah. It's not even first class. She takes a cab, not a limo in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a weird. The other thing is that all her classmates are in the fantasy playing roles. Gabrielle is, I believe, dressed like a sexy maid.
Yes. She thinks of all of her classmates as blue collar workers who are enabling her fantasy. Yeah.
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 But what's weird about this is it works for her fantasy. I get why it is. But later we also see live performances where the classmates are playing roles because it is in fact real. And that's why it's hard to tell the difference.
I got
like later they
confused.
show like the classmates play like the parents and stuff.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And that was, I mean, so just to be clear, I liked all the musical manifestation stuff. Like I thought this was well directed.
Yeah.
And well realized on a choreography level.
It's the internal logic.
It's the logic that's a problem. The writing and logic is not clear, but the musical piece of it, I thought this is the best they'd ever done.
Yes.
You know,
I thought this song was my least favorite. It was still, I liked the escalation in this.
Sure.
One. Like all the big lights and stuff where the cafeteria turns into the big stage. And it was really the big Statue of Liberty head.
It was awesome.
Yes, yeah. This is awesome. This is really well shot, the musical stuff.
It reminded me of those Michel Gondry, like a scaled up version of the Bjork videos that Michel Gondry would do.
There's this whole movie, and even to some extent the series has this like surreal quality.
This is the only one where they achieve what they were going for, I think.
Yeah.
They didn't achieve it really in the other ones. Because they had money.
Yeah. Her name is Kelsey, by the way, the composer.
Kelsey. Okay, I'm not going to remember that. Very quickly. They say. Oh, actually, I'm cutting to the next scene. So if you want to say anything else about this.
They're going to steal songs. The plot here is Ryan's going to warm up to Kelsey. Spoilers. This does not amount to anything.
Oh no.
He goes to the prom with her. That's it. And get the fuck songs so that the fuck siblings can sing the romantic fuck songs with each other. I think. Or she gets the duet.
I don't know what steal a song means. Like I don't know what it would mean to steal a song. Like
I think the idea is he's going to warm up to her and say, your best. She says like everybody knows Kelsey writes Troy and Gabriella her best song. She gives it to them.
Sure.
I want you to warm up to her so we can get those songs, or I can get those songs.
I understand that, but it's still like, and I do understand what the movie's trying to say, but it's so silly. It's like, so what does that mean? You're going to steal the music and perform it yourselves?
She's also not wrong. This would have been a good opportunity for a series of reckonings.
Sure.
Including the fact that Kelsey does purposefully make Troy and Gabriella look better by giving them better songs. Now, Sharpay didn't earn that. She abused that privilege in the first movie. But like, you can have some sort of moment between them where she's like, here, I actually wrote you, Sharpay, a song, you know?
Yes. I mean, also though, in actual high school, no one would ever forgive her for the shenanigans she pulled in either of these movies.
Sure. So, I would argue same with Troy with him when he fucked off and made them his servant.
I agree.
Yeah.
That would not be quickly forgiven. The second movie hangs like it's almost like they forgot it. Like it's like it didn't happen really. Like this felt more like a continuation of the first movie in some ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where Troy calls her from the roof.
Yeah. He also says, I've never been to a dance.
Yes.
I've never been to one.
How many fucking times are we going to have to believe that Troy can't dance? Because it's like, he's like, oh, I've never been to a dance. I'm so nervous.
Not only that, he's the coolest kid in school. He's never been to a dance.
Right.
What did he do during Sadie Hawkins that year? What happened during, were he and Gabriella broken up? Sadie Hawkins?
The first time we saw him was at a karaoke party on New Year's.
A mystery one with mystery friends.
Everybody loved him.
Yeah.
It's like, you've been to I've never been to a dance. I've been to a few galas though. Like that's what it feels like.
I did figure out finally, by the way, who was at that party. It's all the dancers that one character just finds in the hallway. That's
Christ.
Who's populating all these parties. Here's extra dancers. That's who it is. That's who was at the party.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We should know he's on the roof garden, the giant roof garden, picking out his prom outfit.
Yeah.
His secret spot.
Yeah.
He presents her with prom tickets.
Yeah.
He doesn't even ask her. And I will point that out only because later someone gets the business for not asking.
Yep. Yeah. They make him really pay for that in a way that's like,
I
don't know. Does he still want to go with her? Because I kind of doubt it. Would Chad still want to go with her? I'm not sure.
And this is that problem, like you mentioned, he's never been to a dance. He's nervous, and then they dance amazingly. And it's like, show if you want to have a musical number, have it be Gabriella teaching him.
Yeah, right. They're immediately incredible because that's what we want to watch. They're not wrong. And thankfully, this is the moment where we decided they needed to get wet again.
We got to hose down these kids.
We got to wet them down again.
It
made no sense
in a heartbeat
at all.
Truman Show, Truman Show style.
Right.
It just starts raining on them.
Pouring. Not a little bit of rain. No thunder. Pouring immediately.
Yep. The pervert Grip or whoever threw the switch.
Yep.
They had been keeping him from it. And he was like, I'm getting them wet.
I'm getting them wet. Yep. They did it.
And Adam, what is this scene cut to? More wet children.
They do. That's pretty much it. This song kind of goes over a bunch of places though. There's I don't remember if it was this song or not. There's a moment where they're singing and they just pass through an auto shop. There's an auto shop
later.
at the school.
No, that's later.
Okay, all right. So I didn't write notes for a while then.
No, they hose down these kids.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the shower.
Oh, right. Yes,
school.
the shower
It's wet. It's wet children to wet children.
Yes, that was weird.
And then they just bully these kids. And it was really weird because I was like, this feels genuinely mean, to the point that I thought it was going to be a plot point about Troy not bullying these kids.
I agree. Why the second kid? I get why you bully Rocket Man. He's a single white female type. I get it.
But this other much younger kid.
Yeah, what are we bullying him
again,
for?
It's weird.
Yeah, what did he do?
Because what happens is they steal the children's clothes.
Yep.
And one of them is a child, and they run through the garage.
Yeah, and an auto shop. They have an auto shop in they're fixing roadsters.
There's adults fixing. This was in the first one too. The school has a full auto shop, no students. It's like it's an auto shop that's just next door.
Very quickly, Dave. If there's an auto shop where they're fixing roadsters, Why would you ever go to a junkyard to get a part?
That is such a good question.
Why would you ever do that? Especially when we know
this movie's a fucking fever dream.
Troy can get into the school whenever he wants. He can.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a vampire. He can
doesn't
slip
even
in
get in
there
trouble for it.
unnoticed. Yeah. So the junkyard is baffling. Like just baffling in every way.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like they got the set and they're like, we got to
figure it out. We got to get a junkyard
something
real
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like this auto shop, I'm obsessed with because again, I think it's always adults there. It feels like a scene. It feels like a bit in like The Naked Gun.
Yes, it does.
Like where people are chasing each other and then they chase each other through. It's the opening of The Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Where the sirens going through impossible areas. Right. That's what this is. It's just an adult auto shop garage that has been in this school twice. That in these movies,
I can't figure out. Like, did in the 50s or whatever, when this director was a child, did they have auto shops in high schools?
I assume.
Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of shop class.
That's wood shop.
Exactly. That's wood shop.
Like you learn welding and shit.
This is the wealthiest, richest school. I just don't know how else to say it. Is like the people writing this movie seem to fundamentally think that middle American schools are funded like this, that have every fucking thing in them.
This school,
including auto shops. Like I imagine rich private schools have stuff like this.
But this school is nicer than like Cruel Intentions.
Yes.
Like it's that level.
The nicest school.
Yeah. It's that level.
The only logic I can give it other than that, because like my school was a charter school. It didn't have a campus. It was like spread out a little bit.
Okay.
So to go to class, you'd have to walk through the town a little bit sometimes.
That's interesting.
So the only sense I can make this is that this is an incidental auto shop between the gym and the rest of the school. That's the only sense I can make this.
So now they're just parading children in towels through the city.
Yeah.
Through Albuquerque.
There's no right answer. There's nothing good.
There's no way. There's nothing that calms this fire down.
No, they're scarring. They bring them to the girls' volleyball. They humiliate these kids.
Yeah.
It is a hazing ritual that is downright fucking mean.
But
it just happens and they move on.
It did feel like the first thing I believe would happen in high school in this movie.
Yes.
Like, honestly.
But my question is, did this matter in the plot?
No.
Was there any reason this happened?
No, not at all. I think they were just like, we got to wet these kids down. How are we going to get that done?
It really feels like that. Because it's a 2 hour. This movie's 2 hours and 1 minute. They don't need an extra scene.
Right. They're
not stretching. There's no song. I don't know why they needed a scene where Troy steals a child's clothes and makes him chase him through the school.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it.
This I feel like the screenwriter didn't have this scene. We just cut immediately from this to the next actual bit of drama, and the producer's like, listen, and it was like Mulholland Drive, like one of them couldn't drink espresso or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're just like, listen, imagine this. Children in towels running around. How can we do it?
Yeah.
Where it feels like maybe right here. How can we do it?
Yeah, we need it, right?
We need that. This. And the screenwriter's like, well, I don't know, man. Like, no, you're gonna do it.
Make it happen.
You're gonna do that. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's
awful.
It's one of the most unhinged moments of this whole series.
I my only defense of it is, as I said, I do think it's the only thing that feels like it would have happened in high school.
Yes.
You'd have gotten in massive trouble for it though.
Like I'm not
right.
Trying to justify anything here, but when people talk about demonic Hollywood conspiracy theories of like eating children,
this is where
I feel like this is where you get it from. Moments like this where you're like, what the fuck is going on?
I don't understand.
What is this shit?
The wedding down. I know we've done a bunch of jokes about it, but like I don't understand. Like in this movie, it is baffling. Like I can't figure out. I can't figure out what the creative thought of it is. Like, what's it supposed to be? Like The Notebook?
So I'm thinking like, in The Room where Tommy Wiseau, the famous scene where they pass the football.
Boy.
And it's really awkward.
Yes, it
is.
And
you know what the brain is thinking there. The brain is thinking, I want a scene to show that they're all friends and they're getting along.
And they're tossing a football around. Right.
Yeah. I wonder if this is their fun in games, or they're like, we want to show levity and fun, and like it's jokey, and it's like they're getting along, they like each other. That's the most sense I can give this without it being demonic.
It's pretty bad. I also think that they were trying to map some kind of an arc for Rocket Man that that didn't scan at all.
Right, the idea that they're teasing him and then he proves himself or something.
Yeah,
everybody's like, good for Rocket Man.
But Rocket Man was immune to feeling shame.
He
remained
was
immune.
already on top.
Yes,
he started on top.
And he stayed on top.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't like Rocket Man, but his existence is a blissful one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Where it's like
he's living your dream. Yeah.
It's like dreaming about being a turtle, where you're like, that's got to be simple, right?
Yeah,
you know, that's got to be nice.
Yeah, it's mostly house. You're mostly living in your house. Sounds great.
So they go to Gabriella's mansion to talk about Juilliard and her hammock.
I forgot she also has a mansion with a hammock.
Yeah,
it's beautiful too. Yeah.
That's all I have for that.
Yeah,
scene.
I didn't have anything either.
Chad, this is where we get Chad gets the business. So Chad tries to pull the same thing that Troy did. He just assumes that his girlfriend Taylor is going to the prom with him, which I had a bit of a like. So this is interesting because I was talking to Hannah about this, and Hannah, they haven't gone. I don't think they've gone to proms. I never went to a prom.
I didn't go to a prom either.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it's weird to have to propose to someone you're already dating.
No.
And you could just say, but no, I think Hannah
it's normal.
Opposite, and they were right.
Yeah.
It's actually weirder to do this a big show for someone you didn't know. That would be more uncomfortable.
Yeah, because you don't know what they're gonna say. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you're like yeah.
Ryan does it in a very conceited way, but he does it in a respectful way later where he's like, I'll pick you up at 8. You know, where he's like, you want to go to the prom? In a private setting where it's like she could say no there. But this, so the idea is Chad is like, so we're going to the prom, and she's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You have to ask.
Do the
she
job.
Shuts him the fuck down. Yeah.
Do the job.
So they go in the lunchroom, and she's wearing her steampunk tie here.
Yeah. Was very troubled by her outfit.
Right.
Also, just very quickly, this is the first time that it just like clicked for me. Oh, they've gotten rid of the caste system altogether in this school. Because these are two people who wouldn't date.
Well,
if there
we
was
talk
a
about
caste
how
system.
it started vaguely racist, where in the first movie they just paired up.
Yes.
They're like, we're the black kids, and then they paired up. And it was like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
They I think they had like one conversation together. But here it's like, okay, they've been dating. It's fine. You know, it was a questionable, it was weird to get them together.
But here's what's interesting about it. To me, I think they're having a much more believable version of the same conflict. I know I said that earlier, but this is
they have more charisma.
They do.
They seem like they're in a relationship because they have conflict and they give each other the business.
Correct.
They razz each other.
Yeah.
And like whenever it's I have to go back to Tommy Wiseau for whenever Troy and Gabriella have a scene. Well, when she's like, "Oh, is this your cape?" and he's like, "Give me that," or like when they were playing basketball and he's like, "I'm going to grab you." It feels like really forced camaraderie and like where he's just like, we're playing together. It always felt forced between them, where these two seem to have genuinely,
they have good chemistry.
These actors, they should do stuff together.
They're more fun, but they're more fun together. I don't hate Zac Efron or Vanessa Hudgens per se.
I have nothing against them. No. I wish them no harm.
I also do not wish them harm.
Them as a couple, though, there's just
nothing to
never
it.
had it.
Yeah,
it's very.
There's nothing to it. I think she is very good in scenes where she's heartbroken. Every heartbroken scene is great.
Every single movie. Yeah. It's like, I think the actress is like, listen, I'm really good at silently weeping in a way that makes your heart.
That really hurts you. Yes. She's good.
And I want to do it. She does it in all three, and she's so good. Yes.
I think what was missing in this movie in the grand scheme of things is a golf course for Zac Efron to rage at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Zac Efron, I also think he's very talented too. I think he's good in this. He has a lot of charisma. He's playful. I think in his adult years, him being a little more like adult humor oriented makes sense. It's not that. It's like watching Megalopolis, where it's like, it doesn't matter how good the actor is. they're given these lines or these moments that it's like it's just not working.
Yeah, I've heard that. Haven't seen it, but that was the news I got from Con. I had 2 friends who saw it at Con, and it was.
You'll see it.
Yeah, I'm sure I will.
It's incredible.
I also have just kind of a problem with hyping up prom this much. Like, I mean,
this is a big stereotype. I never went to my prom.
Well, that's the thing is like, this is a thing that movies do in general. They make the prom into this, like, this like
biggest thing.
And it's not.
It's always like, at least a lot of them are. Some of them aren't, but there's the stereotype of the prom is always like ridiculously funded. Yes, yeah. And it's like gorgeous. And it's like, and it's like the prom happens like pretty like, it's like there's like a month left.
There's a month left. Well, that actually brings up a conversation I wanted to have, Dave, that takes us a little away from the movie, if that's okay.
Okay.
And that is, did you ever go to grad night? Did you go to grad night?
I went to a performance arts.
Did you guys have that grad night?
We were lucky if we had things.
Okay, all right.
We put on. So here's the thing about the school I went to.
Yeah.
And I've already talked to you about this, but I'll mention it again.
Thank you.
All the funding and stuff went to theater. So what that meant is that the events, so when we put on Cabaret, you walked into the gym, and it was normally the shitty gym, and it was decked out like an actual nightclub with tables, and the audience sat was served by waiters who were in character. During the performance, they were in the audience very neatly dressed adults who, when something anti-Semitic happened, would laugh and clap as if they were themselves Nazis and you were in.
Whoa.
Yep. That's how intense it got.
Wow.
This is where all the funding and care went. It was a really good performance.
That's amazing.
I'll never forget it. Yeah. Because then they became involved in the play later and stuff. Like at first you're like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like
that's like, distressing. Yeah. What are you doing?
Like they went all out is my point. There was full swashbuckling, full sets, and those were actual events. Whereas it's like we had a prom, I think, but I never went to it, and it was like whatever,
So okay, well then let me briefly talk about grad night versus prom, because I
don't even know what that is.
So grad night, and I assume this happens at a lot of schools. Most schools I've ever heard of that were like public or whatever have some party at the end of high school where they've graduated, and then here's a party where everybody that you've known in high school gets together that the school puts on, and it's sort of it is your actual last night as a high schooler.
And that sounds like the real thing.
That party is so interesting because whatever theme it is, it doesn't matter. All the walls that you've built your entire identity around for 6 years or longer are gone. Because high school's a fiction, right? Like it's an artificial thing. And this is like this one night where like, I never talked to you. Why didn't I ever talk to you? Like, why weren't we friends? We could have been friends.
Prom is like the formal it's the official school.
This is how we remember high school, right?
This is this is a ceremony event. Kind of like how you put on a graduation play.
Correct.
Before your real graduation.
Yes, correct.
Where everybody gets their scholarships. We'll get to that.
Yes,
but, yeah.
Agreed.
The graduation play.
I'm mentioning it because I think it's strange how, I mean, I understand why movies want to create the prom that's sort of like, here's what we think about high school, but like we don't explore grad night much dramatically.
No, you could make a movie called Grad Night.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I need to just write this down. It's an awesome time because it's the first time everything your life is based on is gone. It's amazing. Yeah,
I think it falls into the trap of like how we movify everything, how movies and it's funny because it's not a naive thing. It's about like every time you see in a movie getting made, and we know, and in fact, people who don't know much about movies probably know, it's always never represented correctly.
Yeah.
Like the filmmaking, how movies are made is rarely, sometimes it is, if that's the point. And it's like, it's just funny how movies have to simplify everything, including the things that they know they're simplifying.
Agreed.
Including the things that they're experts in. They're like, no, you know how like he's on a crane always, and the director is the cameraman, and he yells at everybody, and that's how movies are made.
Right, right. He has the megaphone, and that's what he does. Yeah, exactly.
And so it's that, where it's like prom. Prom's easy. It's like the official, everybody knows prom.
Yes.
It's international.
Yada
So
yada.
just
big
go with
dance.
prom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Also, there is one famous grad night movie I can think of, and it's Can't Hardly Wait, which is a good movie about that. Anyway,
that is a great movie.
The reason I'm getting on it about this is that like this movie wanted to center the importance of prom. They don't actually go to prom really. Like we kind of represent.
No, do we ever see prom?
No, we just represent it as a dance. Like the prom we see is Zac Efron fixing his relationship again.
Oh yeah, okay,
That's
that
prom.
was cool. That was a really good
Yeah.
idea because the whole movie is building up to this thing, and then the reveal is that he's not doing it.
Yeah,
that was legitimately a good writing move, I thought.
So important question:
it was still confusing because he starts. We mentioned the rooftop.
Yep.
He starts lurking from above.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
But we're at. So they sing about. This is where they sing about the prom.
They sing about prom. That's why we're talking about it. Who's Sharpay going with? The prom.
So this is frustrating.
Yeah.
And this is another one where I'm like, is this, because I know this sounds like you're like, wow, it's 2007. Can it be? But this is legitimately still a problem in mainstream movies. This might be Disney being like the only interest was the cook, but that would be an interracial thing. And like, it's like, were they too scared? Because that's the natural person to ask her to the prom.
They danced
and to have a
together
scene.
in the big, you know.
But we're still in that era, and it's that thing where it's like it's wild how safe corporations are. Where it's like even that is still sometimes in very mainstream things, they're like you still hear stories of that.
That's
in
true.
Movies from this era.
It's pretty.
Where it's like, oh, they were supposed to kiss, but they were concerned, so they didn't do it.
That's true. They definitely never commit to those two being together.
It's fucking weird because he's
weird.
really into her.
Yeah.
And he's like her little dog, and that's what she wants.
You'd think at least in high school she'd be willing to.
She'd want a sub.
Yeah. Because she does seem like that's
sub
all she
that
wants.
Cooks for her. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy's a catch.
But also, this is one of those like I kind of feel like when left to her own devices, she would find a way to like, okay, I like this cook guy, it's fine, right? But but again, the time loop starts over every like 20 minutes in this movie, so she goes back to Troy. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And it's like, why? That guy likes you.
Maybe this is all right. It's a time loop where maybe the aliens or whoever want Troy and Sharpay to have a baby that's going to be Neo or something for them.
Yeah.
And they just can't make it happen, so they keep resetting it. And they're like, no, don't pay attention to the cook. No, don't pay attention to Gabriella. What the fuck? You just have to. We need your seed. God damn it. We need your spawn.
Could it be
that's what's gonna?
Could it be the drama teacher? Is it possible the drama teacher is like, Al Pacino and Devil's Advocate?
Were you disappointed, by the way, because they humanize her a lot in this one? And I was like, no, make her a fucking maniac.
Yeah, I wanted her just to be there for jokes. I didn't like that they telegraphed in the biggest way ever that she was the one that filled out his Juilliard application.
Of course she was, yeah.
Yeah, like just the caring glance she sends his way is like, I don't think she would like him. Honestly.
Yeah, I feel like they wanted to have a touch of like, listen to your teachers, they like you. Where it's like that's an often used arc, which is like, oh, I hate my teacher. They're zany, they're mean, and then you learn in the end of like, well, they know what's best. They're an adult.
They're an adult. They cared. They were trying.
They cared. They gave a shit. You just didn't notice.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a thing in a lot of movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Ferris Bueller.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Which is, I think, why we love Ferris Bueller so much.
Yeah. Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club.
Where
is
it's
the
like,
best.
because honestly, some teachers are in fact bad.
Yeah. That guy in Breakfast Club is gnarly.
Yeah.
Like dark. And it's thing. Anyway.
It's great.
Yeah, that's why we remember it. Brava. This is where Brava happened at the end of that number.
Brava, right. Yeah, and this is the reveal of like, okay, it's a play, right? Like they were repeating the Sharpay scene, so I assumed I was watching just another reality.
Fantasy. Yes, which was, but then they revealed it was in the play, and that's when I thought it got legitimately confusing. This was the moment it got confusing, because it was like, so wait, is every time we see this stylish thing, is this a number that's in the play? Yes.
Because later again, we see Sharpay do the performance.
Right.
So I genuinely don't know. Now this can't be right. I wrote down the name of the guy.
What,
Finally,
Rocket Man?
Poochie.
Yeah,
And I have it listed as
because they tell us that he's an understudy, and you're like, oh, so this is
Zara.
gonna matter. I don't know. His name, yeah, that's his last name. He's Jimmy Zara is his name.
Jimmy Zara.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm Jimmy Zara.
Jimmy Zara,
All right.
great name.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Honestly, I know you. I didn't hate Rocket Man. I didn't hate.
Like I said, I didn't hate him either. I just want to know him. You know.
I didn't need to know him. I appreciated that he was sort of he was a jobber, Dave. That's what he was. He's a WWE jobber.
Yeah, I like the actor
core.
he did. Yeah,
you know,
he's a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
And the thing about Ninja Turtles is when you really think about it, you don't actually want to hang out with them.
No.
April O'Neil being an adult woman hanging out with 4 Ninja Turtles that are teenagers is fucking weird. Yeah, she's a pervert.
Yep. Weird turtle pervert.
And they smell like shit. They smell like a fucking old aquarium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is she letting him in their house? You know, you didn't ask for Ninja Turtle commentary, but you're getting some today.
You're getting it.
Yeah. You are getting it.
So this, I want to note, this is where we learn that Tierra specifically and Rocket Man don't like each other. They're like both new kids, and it's like 2 cats seeing each other.
Sure.
And I just want to note this because he says to her, I wouldn't sing with you if I was on fire and you were the last bucket of water on earth.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense. To which she replies, I wouldn't sing with you if I was starving and you were the last pickle at the picnic.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that a dick thing?
Yeah. Also,
what is that?
Do you eat pickles when you're starving? Because that's not good for you, I don't think.
Right.
That's going to dry you out.
And if you're starving at a picnic, then did you not have... Those 2 lines are like the writer wanting to be Tarantino all of a sudden. And he wrote the 2 most unhinged sentences in the history of mankind next to each other.
The last pickle in the picnic. Who's picking all these pickles? Putting them on a plate. Here you go.
Fuck.
Enjoy your picnic. It's all pickles.
Yeah.
Hope you like that. You know? Yeah.
Tierra is... I think we start learning she's going to destroy Sharpay.
I mean, you knew that. How could you work for Sharpay and not hate her? You know?
Yeah, we're getting the plans are coming into motion. Ryan asked her to the prom. Sharpay is trying to destroy Gabriella by printing out something.
Yeah, she's printing out a headshot that says Gabriella is admitted to Stanford in this early access program, right? So like,
yes, that's like in a news announcement that anybody could access.
Anybody could access it.
She prints it like a boomer.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Right. So like, this is where I wrote this down. At minute 48, because that's where we are. We're minute 48 in the movie right now.
Yes.
Sharpay's scheme finally emerges. And the scheme is to let what's already happening continue to happen.
Yes. Her scheme is, I know something that other people know.
I'll show it to someone who probably already knows it too.
And that's
my scheme. Then he'll sing with me.
Yep. So we see more of the play. This is where I got the realization of, like, it started with the school being like, or the teacher being like, make a play about you. And it literally is songs about it. They're performing like the songs they sung to each other earlier. So they're going to this composer, Kelsey, and being like, hey,
here's what happened to me.
I played basketball and it was really fun. Can you write a song about that? Like, that's what's happening. And she's like, all right, I'll fucking write a song.
Can you
and
imagine
then they're performing it?
Can you imagine those brainstorming meetings? Like, they're having them every morning at 6 or whatever, right? Like, they're getting together.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, so I need another number. What else happened? Well, I played basketball. Yeah, we got a basketball song.
Yeah, and it really is synecdoche, where it's like, hey, can you write a song about how we're excited about doing this play, and maybe like do a song about how we're writing this song right now? Like, it's getting to that point.
And she's like squeezing eye drops in her eyes, like for tears and shit. You know, like it's gnarly. It's very gnarly. Yeah,
because we see the "All I Want" or "I Want It All," or
we see a rendition of that.
It's "All I Want Is to Be With You" song. She wants to sing. Sharpay does.
Yeah, which we've seen a version of earlier on the rooftop. I want to say when they wet the children down. So
yes,
like
it's the wet song.
Yeah, it's
so
wet
that's
song,
it's a private song that's now being sung.
Right. Okay, so the reason that Dave and I are having a hard time doing this part of the movie is because this is the part of the movie where it's like we're having scenes and there's songs and stuff, but we haven't really assembled any kind of tension. And this is the point where the pageantry's, you're no longer interested in it. And it's like, okay, so now tell me the story,
This is
the part where Twilight knew to put baseball. Like, this is right where the baseball game happened.
And this is, like you said, this is Act 1, the end.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Is this like a David Lean film?
Yeah.
Is this a 5-hour film?
Yeah.
But luckily, instead of baseball, you know what we get?
The junkyard.
The junkyard.
The junkyard.
So it looks like a fucking Wes Anderson film. Yeah. Like it's like a
Riley's junkyard. Yeah.
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 And we cut to it, and the moment we cut to it, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was baffled. Immediately baffled. The actor they got looks like a guy who owns a junkyard.
He looks like a pro wrestler. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you referenced pro wrestling, because that's going to come up again a few times.
Yeah. And he's just like, I love you. Lock up when you're done.
Lock up when you're done.
I love you and I trust you.
What do you mean? Because you run a junkyard.
Listen, Troy was wearing the headdress of his people. He was wearing the cleanest bandana that ever existed.
He looks like he's out of the Beat It music video. It's really stupid.
It's Zoolander. Yeah, it's a Zoolander outfit.
It really is. He's like, like just, also, I mean, I know that I'm doing this bit, but I'm committed to it now, Dave. So, like, just to be clear, this has got to be the only junkyard that's still operational in Albuquerque, because the other one had all that fucking magnet shit in the RV.
Right.
So,
you're right.
That's why
this is where it happened.
That's why, it could be that. This could be like their version of this is where the magnet shit happened. You know, like they have a crushed RV that people are still getting high on and stuff.
Yeah.
Like briefly, like that's why Riley is so comfortable. Like, do whatever you need to and lock up, because there's no other junkyard. Like and like this place is sopping in tourism and stuff.
But also like this is like, it's like Sesame Street junkyard, because he's also like, lock up when you're done, or I'll kill you.
Yeah.
So you know the consequences. I trust you, because otherwise I'll cut off your head.
You know where Walter White is? He's on the loose right now. I do know.
Yeah.
Read the news. I do know where he is. Yeah.
I have killed several people, Troy.
I've defied the cops in this city with science.
Yeah.
So, pick your part, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over because what they do, so they're there with this junker car, and like, okay, that makes logical sense, except like you said, it would have made more sense if it was the school. But like the only time we've seen this car is him and his dad working on it. But basically
it never runs. They're always pushing it to whatever the location is, because we're supposed to care about that.
And the conversation leading up to the song is him and Chad going, boy, don't you love how we always come here and we grew up here? And it was like, you did fucking what? You do. First of all, neither of you look like kids who work at a junkyard. Here's my theory, actually. I have
Oh, good.
This junkyard is actually just an extension of Troy's mansion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And his dad made him a junkyard.
Yeah. Yep. It's like a paintball range. Basically,
yes. And that man has been hired. He's an actor who has been hired to pretend to be the junkyard guy.
Goes up when you're done, like takes a lunch pail back into the house, grabs a quick beer, and heads out.
It's like this is not the class. This is not what you've depicted these characters as. Like, oh yeah, we're just working class folks always going to the junkyard and. Who like they imply that they played there as kids, and I'm like, who is supervising?
Yeah,
like who owns the junkyard?
Who has ever gone to a junkyard for fun?
Like did the adults bring their kids and then go just run around the junkyard and get tetanus or two?
Right.
It's like I grew up. My dad owned a framing shop, so I spent a lot of time in a framing shop as a kid.
That's incredible.
Playing and finding stuff to do. Right.
Yeah, sure.
Where it's like, oh, I built a diorama. Like you do when you're a kid.
You do your best.
And it's after school, and you're where you are. You do your best. But we don't see like in the scene if it was Chad's dad who owned this place.
That would make more sense.
Boys, but no, it's just somebody else's place that they've squirmed around in like rats all their lives, apparently.
I mean, it's also Yeah, those kids have major health problems if they've been playing in a junkyard for their whole childhood.
Oh
like,
yeah,
they
have lungs of 60-year-old miners.
Yeah, they've found other dead bodies. I mean,
yes.
Again, this is in Albuquerque. We know there's been murders there.
Yes. An Albuquerque junkyard.
Yeah.
They've seen so many bleached skeletons. They've regularly gotten tetanus shots. They probably just get one every day.
They've found used prophylactics every day. They found cigarette butts. Like these kids smoke in their free time for
they
sure.
Smoked crack.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They found smoked crack.
They found it there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is
the boys are back.
Incredible location.
The boys are
back is the song. The boy and I wrote, did they leave? Because the song "The Boys Are Back" implies that they were gone
a bit. Yeah, yes. They were gone. Nope.
And their song is "We're the boys. We're back here at the junkyard that we always go to, and we've been friends forever."
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that mean? The boys are back.
I couldn't understand it on a creative level at all. And then at some point they met like mutants from Fallout who were dancing with them.
Yes, they all come out and
the Raiders.
Like, run!
Yeah, right.
There's Raiders.
There's
Where did they
Raiders.
come from?
They're gonna steal your crowbar, man.
Yeah, they have a Kill Bill fight briefly.
They do. Yep.
It's the most unhinged moment. I think the boys are back. I think because at the end they turn into literal children.
Yes, they did.
So it's about our boyhood is back. We're here at this junkyard and we're reliving our boyhood memories. But it needs to at least start. They don't know how to do this. It should start with them going, I need to get this part for my car. Let's go to the junkyard.
Oh,
like, oh my God, I haven't been there in years.
The boys are back.
Yeah. And it's like, we're back and like, oh, is our old toys still here?
Right.
It still doesn't make too much sense, but it's like, at least that it should have been like in the fucking, they already introduced the treehouse. Like, hey man, let's go to the treehouse again.
Well, or they found out all the stuff he got from the treehouse he got from the junkyard.
Yeah.
That's where he got the fucking captain's wheel or whatever.
Right.
And the robot.
Some implication that this is something they haven't done in a while. And the boys are back.
On a dramatic level, the point of this is so that there are stakes for him not to play basketball at U of A, right?
And there's stakes with his friend. So his friend, spoilers, is Chad is the last person to find out about any of this.
Which really hurts him. He's legitimately hurt. Yeah.
And unlike the second film, they give him a Gabrielle moment. Remember when Gabrielle just shows back up?
Yes.
They actually have a moment where he goes to him and granted, it's resolved in 30 seconds, but he goes to him and they actually talk it out.
Yeah, and it was good. I thought.
And it was good.
Yeah.
It was, I would argue their friendship has never been earned. They have to do a song like this to show like, we're friends,
Or to give us some sense of
setting up.
Because based on the first two movies, it's not 100% clear if these guys were friends as kids. Like that they grew up together. And they do that. So, okay, now we know that. Nice.
Yep.
Also, their families have dinner later, which does the same job. So maybe we didn't need a junkyard.
Do we want to? I have that soon. That's the scene I highlighted.
There's a scene. Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Let's do it in order.
There's a scene.
So Gabrielle's getting into Stanford. We learned that she's dating in early.
Yes.
And this is where it stops making sense. Because she's getting in early. She has to miss the show. And she has to go to Stanford, miss the show, but then come back for graduation.
I can't understand what they're even like. What this is like? Is
early entry? It's like, all right, if it's the idea is like you got in, you need to come for one day for orientation. I would get that, and it's like orientation,
and it's on the same day as whatever. Okay,
but this happens in multi-steps because she's about to leave forever. And it's like, don't you have to graduate?
Yeah, don't you need a GED to do college? I think you do.
Literally about to drop out.
Yeah.
Drop her abandon her friends, not tell anybody, move away like she's abandoning her life. Like she killed somebody or something.
It's it's deeply unclear, I think is the fairest thing to say.
But we first get, what's her name? Taylor,
her friend. Yes, but can I just briefly say?
Oh yeah.
even when they give Gabriella a plot, which they haven't up to this point, this is when a plot is forming.
This is where things start happening. Yeah.
Her plot is waiting around for somebody else to do something. She never does a single active thing, not one in the whole franchise.
She moves her family, but yeah,
no,
other than that,
her mom moves her family.
Well, yeah, I am to understand that again in this society, when someone gets into school, the entire family has to go along
must be
with
moved.
Yeah.
What's the mom do for a living? Now that we know that,
I think her mom might have killed someone.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like, hey, mom, I got into Stanford. I wanted to see her mom like shivering and sweaty. Like, that's great. Let's move. Let's go right now. Like, that's what it felt like. Whereas, like, they never say, like, oh, my mom got a new job and we're moving away. Like, that's never said as the conflict. It's I got into Stanford.
This is before
when
Zoom too. So like, remote work is barely.
But like
a thing.
FaceTime is a thing. Yeah. But but like you'd think like they'd introduce because they just spring that she's moving on us. Mm-hmm. It's happens weird. In like her song.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And you're like, wait, she's moving. Why is she the moving? Conflict?
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because I kept thinking she has roots here. It's not like going to Stanford. It's like, it's like a plane trip. It's like a long drive. Like it's like you're in Albuquerque there. It's like, it's a long drive, but people have had relationships like this
100%.
And so it's like she like buries the lead that it's like, I'm going to Stanford. Also, incidentally, my entire family is moving. We're selling our house and leaving.
And it's happening very quickly. Like
it happens.
Like we already have a buyer.
Afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We already have a buyer. I believe that the mother killed her father.
Yes.
Also her siblings. Like, I think there was a great sibling.
He's under the hammock.
There's a great sibling purge in this town that we've never talked about because everyone here is an only child. Right. Nobody has siblings.
It stinks of rich alien, which is like, you know how like you hear about how wealthy people where they're like, I want to go to Greece. Let me buy an apartment in Greece real quick. Like it's that vibe where it's like, oh yeah, you know how you just move. You pay movers, they come take all your stuff while you go to the bar, and then you get on a private jet and all your stuff's there again. Like it's that vibe.
Yeah, you go to Hawaii when you move, as you do.
Right.
And when you come back, you're moved.
Yeah. But before this, we're getting her and her friend in her room.
Yeah.
And Taylor is right here. And what I mean is she's broadly right. Because she's like, you're right. Here's where Gabrielle says, maybe I should stay here. Maybe I should throw my entire future away, not go to Stanford because I want Troy. And her friend basically says, I summed it up in 3 words.
Don't be stupid.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Mine is dicks are cheap. Because it's true. Dicks are cheap.
I mean, you're not wrong, Dave.
It's a sad truth.
You've never been wrong, Dave.
And here's the thing. Troy learns that because he comes to her at the end. So even Troy knows like dicks are cheap. I got to make this easy for her. I got to make this dick cheap. And that's it. She's like, listen. Yeah. But she's like, listen, man. It's your first crush, she says.
Yeah.
Which Gabrielle cries like her dog was shot.
It's great. It was a moving moment. It worked. It's the first thing that was like, oh, well, like I kind of believe she really loves him, actually. I kind of believe that.
The idea is that we're getting that, and I'm glad they address it. Everybody's starting to trivialize their relationship.
Yes.
Because statistically speaking, their relationship is trivial.
Yeah.
And they're saying, like, don't hold off your life for college. Go to college. Dicks are cheap. And like, if it could work out, but like, he's just a fucking guy. He's just your crush, your high school. And she's in this moment is like, no, he means more than that. And her mom hugs her on her giant balcony.
Huge balcony.
It's touching.
Huge. Like her Juliet.
It's as big as a treehouse.
It's huge
in their world.
Yeah.
It's her treehouse.
Yeah.
It specifically is because they sing a duet with.
That's
they
correct.
do it somewhere out there.
That song was weird in that was the one time I was like, why didn't they have her magically appear in the same space as him instead of doing this weird split screen thing?
Yeah. Well, it's to show that they're apart.
But then they put them together in the image. You know what I mean? Like it's like, well, if we're gonna do hyper reality, do it here. This is where it should be done.
They're doing a split screen. They're trying to show a character like split screen. They're trying to show their separation, but their togetherness.
I get a split screen. I understand that. The problem is that the camera moves don't match, and it's weird.
It is weird.
Anyway, yeah.
No, you're right. This is where we get the dinner.
Yes.
Now we learn one key thing, that is Chad's dad and Troy's dads are BFFs.
Yes, didn't know that.
I was like, why wasn't this the movie?
Right.
I don't care if it's not high school.
Yeah, those guys had their relationship is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
You know, love it. Also, all of those men are drinking milk for dinner.
So here's where They're
all
also
milk.
We're calling it dinner, and I take offense to that because I think here's what happened: is I looked at the screen, and took some notes, and then I had a moment of realization, and I rewound the film and I paused it. It's because this is unnatural. This is where it gets satanic.
Okay.
So they're having dinner, right? That's what that's like the broad idea.
Yep, drinking milk.
So we have 4 characters to start.
Yep.
The 4 sitting characters.
Yeah.
On
2
one
moms,
side,
2 dads.
On one side are the 2 dads.
Oh yes.
On the other side are the 2 sons.
Yes.
The moms are standing on either side symmetrically. It is Last Supper rules, meaning that no one is eating on the other side.
Yeah.
They are, as you said, all drinking milk.
Milk.
On the table, there are 2 red lit candles, and next to each candle is a framed picture of each kid. I don't know why. And then there are red dunce-shaped caps on the table.
Yeah. They do love dunce caps in this franchise.
Yeah, and they're drinking milk and eating pie. This is like a deep state fucking ritual.
Yep.
What? No, like seriously.
What is it? What did they meet for? What was the purpose of that dinner?
I thought maybe like, because I'm not particularly religious. I didn't go to prom. I don't know like American rites of passage.
Prom's not a religion, Dave.
I know, but what I'm saying is I don't know rites of passage.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe this is a rite of passage that I simply didn't know about.
No, this was
But
crazy.
Hannah didn't know what they were seeing.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was seeing here. This vexed me. This disturbed me.
If you'd seen them in robes, would you felt like I know what this is now?
Yes, it felt like they should be wearing robes.
Yeah.
I can't, like, the framing is haunting. Again, that Last Supper, it's symmetrical. All the men get to sit, and the women have to stand and service them.
It's American Beauty, but without the tension of that shot. Like they have that shot in American Beauty, basically, but it's tense. This is like, isn't everything happy? You're like, no.
Right. And it's like, okay, candles, they're having dinner. Sure. Why do they have the framed photos?
Yeah, framed photos. Pretty upsetting.
What is happening?
Why the milk?
The milk is terrifying.
Like, who drinks milk for dinner? It's wild. Like, their toilets are a landfill, you know?
It felt demonic. It felt like Disney being like, listen, you have to film this exactly like this so we can give a message to our Freemason brethren that now is the time to strike. Like, that's what it felt like. It was like a coded message for a specific person or people.
Stand back and stand by, huh? Like something like that. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what that was. And it's
it was
haunting
weird.
me.
It was really weird.
I feel in danger by that shot. I'm sorry. I don't know what I don't know. There's nothing to analyze.
It just got you in the deep lizard brain of you. Yeah. Like,
yes. Yeah. I felt like something's deeply wrong.
Yeah. The frame photos are a cry from hell. Like they are like, nobody needs it. Why would you have it?
The red caps. What
the red caps
I don't know what that was.
Yeah. The blood funnels, maybe?
Maybe, maybe it was a vase and I misunderstood or so. I don't know.
Do you think maybe it's goat's milk they're drinking? Like maybe they sacrifice a goat, you know, and then like that's goat's milk.
Yeah. Or the cum of a goat. You don't know.
I don't know. I looking at it though, I feel like I feel pretty good about saying that's not what it is.
Do yourselves a favor. If you have Disney
take a look at it. Yeah.
Take a. I should have wrote down the time code.
Yeah.
It's right where
it's kind of around an hour.
Treehouse. Yeah, we're looking for a Treehouse split screen because it's before that. Because that's what happens next. He watches his dad fuck his mom in the kitchen, and he sings in the Treehouse. Yeah,
that's where the split screen is, right?
Yeah.
That troubled me. Also, so the next scene, he walks up to his locker and he kind of like, hey, bangs it open, like he fonzes his locker.
And
I was like, well, are you trying to evoke that? I couldn't understand what that was about.
Troy is I think they wanted, the broad direction was he's like a cool teen. And like if you remember the first movie, they did the thing where like there'd be a square adult, and they did in the second too, where he like spoke street, where he'd be like, awesome, man.
Yes, I remember that.
And they're all
off
posh.
The hook. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're trying to say like he's like the cool everyman. And I feel like the way they achieved that was a 60-year-old writer combined with Zac Efron on set within the most nihilistic attitude, every now and then going, what if I did this? And they go like, is that cool? And he's like, trust me, it's cool.
I'm doing it.
Like that.
That's how cool it is.
And that's what it felt like.
Right.
The only time he felt genuine to me, honestly, is when he did the Roberto Benigni and the teacher was laughing under him.
That was funny.
It was like,
he
almost gave her like, he almost teabagged her. Yeah. And like, it felt like it was two actors who were genuinely like enjoying doing a moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he made the argument that's like the equivalent of Nixon and the presidential powers? They're like, Zac Efron, is this cool? And he's like, it is cool if Zac Efron does it.
Yeah, I hope
like
so.
If I do it,
I hope he refers to himself in the third person.
If the Efron does it, it is cool. I hope so.
Yeah. This is where Sharpay points out the thing. Goes to Gabriella, I believe.
No, it goes to Troy.
Yes, she goes to Troy and points out something he should have known.
That's the thing about it, is like, so from her point of view, she assumes Gabriella isn't gonna tell him about this,
right? She's
whole
like
plan hinges on that.
Yeah,
and she's right about it.
Right, and again, she even acts surprised. She's like, "I'm surprised you didn't know." She's really banking on that, because otherwise, her plan would have fizzled when he would have went like, "Yeah, I know," and that would have been that.
Yeah, we've talked about it, and we're in a good relationship, and nice to see you, Sharpay.
And she says to him, essentially, dicks are cheap. You're holding her back, and she's not wrong.
That's what we should title the
Dicks are cheap.
Yeah, High School Musical 5 that Dicks you and I cheap. Will be writing. Yeah.
Yes.
Dicks are cheap. Yeah.
And again, at this point, Troy's like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Why are you believing a word out of her mouth? She is the mother of lies." Troy.
Why would anyone? The mother of. I mean, honestly, I think it's pity. I really am on the She's Been Truman show, and everyone's putting this on for her, because like that's so dumb that it's hard for me to believe she would have thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Anyway, it doesn't add up to much, unfortunately. I'm hoping that the fourth movie really ties everything together.
I hope so. I hope something fucking happens.
This movie, nothing happened. I think that more than the other two, nothing was happening for most of it.
No, there's no, the conflict is just general change. He goes to her house with pizza and chocolate covered strawberries
and pulleys it up to her.
Yep. He had his butler go get those two things. Yeah. They were probably across town from each other.
Chocolate strawberries is like a little sensual for these two, I would argue.
Yes,
right?
It's also like 9 p.m, and I'm like, where did you make those? Yeah. Where did you get those?
He's been dipping them in his like little his plant estuary, whatever, where he has all the plants, delicately growing strawberries, dipping them in chocolates. Yeah.
And he rigs up a pulley, quietly, again, because he's haunting with this stuff.
He really is
really quiet when he wants to be.
I have a keen eye for pulleys. I think that's one thing that our podcasts have shown. Like when there's a pulley, I notice it.
You notice a pulley.
I notice a pulley right away, because a pulley is a thing that does not naturally exist. And it's there. Yeah,
and like movies will incorrectly assume they're easier to make. And they're not.
Really are. Pulleys are a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. You got to hang them, get the angle right. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You
need like one of those O-ring things. Like you need a rig. He goes up. He tells her dicks are cheap. Yep. He's like, you should go.
Yep. Loved it.
And then this is where she fucking moves. She sings a song. He's like, you should go. And she's like, you're right. Let's move out. I should move out.
It was so unclear what they'd even agreed to. And then when she moved, it was like, oh, so she like turbo broke up with him, right? Like she like broke up the hardest with him.
So he's doing the right thing. He's basically being like, we'll see each other. It's fucking fine.
No big deal. I mean, I understand why you didn't tell me. It's all good.
Right. There's this looming idea of Juilliard. We haven't talked about this mainly because the movie didn't either. Because we're going to get that soon. But the idea that Juilliard's is, of course, in New York. So it's like Stanford's. And so but everybody wants him to stay in Albuquerque, and I'm like, that's not a problem. Again, this isn't unreasonable. He's like, you should go, man. I don't think he knew in that moment that she thought he meant literally pack up your entire family.
Who
and
could
go.
know? Because it's so irrational. It's so out of nowhere. It's like, oh, you broke up with me? I'm gonna huddle into a void now.
But he doesn't break up with her.
Right.
That's the thing.
No.
Gabrielle does what can only be described as overreacts.
A little bit.
She does a song about better do it like a Band-Aid, basically. Her song is like, no going back.
Yeah, no going back.
If I'm going to college, we're going to pack up the entire house and leave.
Yeah.
Empty the shelves.
Stanford's a one-way trip.
Yes.
You know? Can't
never
come back from Stanford.
It's like she's Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like that's how she's treating it.
Yeah.
Like I'm never going to see you again. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I do not understand.
It's vague and bad writing and not a situation.
She just leaves. her overnight. She packs up their entire house and leaves.
Yeah, they do the Fight Club thing where she's like walking through the environment as it's fading out, and that's when you realize, that's when we're losing the house. I didn't understand.
I thought it was symbolism.
I did too.
Where the things are disappearing, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. It's like her fading life.
I thought it was symbolic.
Yes, and it's like a joke that escalates because then we see like moving van, and then they put a fucking like we've sold this house sign, and they drive away, and I was like, wait, it's literal? You literally left the entire town.
They fucking symbol ghosted me. That's what they did.
The mom had nothing better to do and was like, yes, let's move your life. And at this point, what's wild is that she's still lying and saying, but I'll be back for prom.
Right.
And so
why would she be back for prom? Where's she staying when she comes back for prom?
Yes,
like
that's why
does that happen?
I don't think he knows.
Yeah,
because it's like I was waiting for him to call her and be like, "Hey, so I know you said you were coming back for prom, but I swung by your house to just say hi to your mom,
and it's packed
and it
up.
it was emptied, like you did, like it was like the movie Matchstick Men or something. You did a grift on me. Did you grift me? I'm checking my bank account right now.
Do you have my social security card? I can't find it. Where is it? Yeah.
It's such a weird thing to do. Telling him I'll be back for prom, don't worry. And then packing her entire house and leaving.
It's unbelievable.
No, kitten. Oh, no. Why there? Why there? Kitten, why there? Oh, kitten, no. Oh, kitten, no. Oh, why? Kitten, please. I want people to know right now that Kitten just puked.
Oh, great.
She just stood on my desk, leaned over the desk, and tried to puke on me. And I moved my chair, and she puked on the floor instead.
Is that, you think it's related to Gabriella's decision to move, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's directly related.
It's her way of saying, like, I disapprove of that choice narratively.
Yeah.
And for the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could talk about this for hours.
I could
probably keep going.
We should, but like, it's the biggest. It's the moment when you realize this movie's never gonna come together at all.
Yeah,
because that's a really big, very unclear jump.
There was a question at the start.
Yeah.
When I wondered, now that it's a movie, I know it's the same director, but or will it just like not be a fever dream? Will it make like basic logical sense? And this is where you realize for sure, like, okay, this is they're not even trying.
No,
still.
Junkyard should have been our last hope. Should have probably died at Junkyard, but
yes, the love story. Oh, there were things before this, but this was the final. Like, okay, it's out of its mind.
So he gets so upset he breaks into the school to sing.
Well, hold on.
Oh, okay.
We have.
Did I miss a scene?
Yes, I want to talk about. So he has a conversation with his dad. This is where he reveals because again, everybody's the last part. He says to his dad, "I'm going to Juilliard," and his dad gets mad. And he says, "I thought you wanted to go to U of A," which I assume is basketball.
That's University of Albuquerque.
Yeah. And I guess this is where I was questioning the idea, because like his dad's upset, and like honestly I would be kind of too, not because his dad says to him, he says like, I'm mad because you didn't say anything.
Yeah, you haven't talked to me about this.
Yeah. And
we could have talked
like
about
you
it.
suddenly are like, I'm going to Juilliard, because it's the moment where after she's left, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to Juilliard. And it's like, well, first of all, you have to get into Juilliard.
Yeah, big issue.
But
big if.
If I was his dad, like I'd be mad not only for that, but from the basic idea that like he should say, the fuck are you talking about being into singing and dancing? And because the thing is that like I am so unclear, because I think the idea is that Troy is a naturally good singer.
Yeah,
but
they all know that now.
Right. In this film, though, he's like, I can't dance. And in this film, he didn't want to do the theater. He didn't want to do it. And last movie, he didn't want to do the talent show. He doesn't want to do it. The idea is that he's naturally good at it.
Yes.
At one aspect of it, not even dancing.
The singing.
And yes, the singing. And it feels like what you need more for that is more people like his dad to be like, son, you have a gift. And for him to be like, but I'm good at basketball. And they should be like, you're better at singing.
Yeah, you're better at singing, man.
Like it should be so good that people around him. Yeah. That's why Juilliard is coming there.
Yeah.
And being like, that's Troy.
You're a real golden throat, buddy.
Yeah, you're a real golden throat, buddy.
Real golden throat.
You're a GT.
Yeah.
And like the ending should have been him rejecting the Juilliard. Should have been like,
agreed.
Because it's unclear of like, why does he want to go to Juilliard? He doesn't seem to want to. And the only person to encourage him is his teacher, who is doing it like a Sith Lord in secret. And so it's just so this idea of like, I want to go to Juilliard. Yeah. Is like, why? You don't seem to have any interest. You didn't even want to perform this year. Nobody's encouraging this. It's better for you to stay here because you're closer to your friends. There's no reason for him to want this other than I don't know what.
There's no reason for him to want it. He doesn't.
Period.
After the first musical, if he got his taste, he's like, "This isn't for me, really," and then he had to keep doing it.
Right. They treat it like a secret passion in the first one,
and then
but he's doing it for a girl. Yeah, and then in the second one, he's not like, I can't wait to fucking sing.
He's like, I gotta sing again.
He doesn't care.
Not really. So, Dave, I did a little analysis here, a little investigation. Prom is an event that takes place in late April to mid-June in the school year. College acceptance letters are sent out early March to early April, generally.
Jesus fucking
Which
Christ.
is to say they should all know that they're in Juilliard.
Or where they're going.
Well, they at least know where they've gotten in. They know where they're going.
Yes.
So that has to mean, because it's a scholarship they're going for. It has to mean he was admitted to Juilliard.
You're right.
You know? Like that has to be what they're saying. So like he got a letter in the mail, I don't know, let's say a month ago, probably. Because it's probably May or June when this is happening.
Right.
And he got a letter in the mail that said, you're admitted to Juilliard. And he was
Christ.
like, what? And his parents saw it because they get the mail first. He doesn't collect the fucking mail.
Right. This isn't a surprise to anybody.
No. So his mom saw it first, or his dad. Right. So this has been simmering in this family for months.
But apparently not.
For months. There's rage in this.
This is a universe, though, where you learn the college you're going. You're told what college you're going to, or occasionally asked to announce during the school play.
Right. That's how you
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But that's when shit really that's when literally watching with Hannah, who, bless Hannah's heart, bless their heart.
Yes.
Is there. And they often are on their phone, which they can be.
That's
that is
their
their
favorite.
right.
Yeah.
Hannah, we had an exchange last night. Hannah put on the Golden Bachelorette after.
Okay, great.
Which is 60-year-old Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of dead spouses in that.
Yeah.
And you've seen it.
Well, my parents were. I had a whole lunch once where they talked a lot about
Did
Golden
they mention
Bachelor.
Chuck?
I don't know characters because my brain refused to understand it.
There's a man named Chuck. Chock is his name.
Okay.
That's all. That's it.
Chuck.
His name is like Chuck Chaplin. And it's like Boy Named Sue shit, right? Where it's like, what a life he had. What a life Chuck had.
Chuck.
His name rhymes and sounds very much like cock.
Sure.
Yeah, Chuck.
You know what that was. Yeah. You had to know what that was going to be.
Point is, at the ending, which we'll get to, Hana stopped and went, wait, and like got invested and was like, what is happening?
Okay.
So that's just how fucked up that ending seemed to get. But here, so he breaks into the school.
Yeah. So,
or he has a key to the school.
He has a key to the school.
They're like, lock up when you're done.
Again, I just need to put
allowed everywhere.
I got to put all I'm sorry. I need to crime scene this movie because I need to put all this stuff on a timeline so we know when we actually are.
Yeah.
California, and then I know they're not in California, but California's state finals for basketball happen, generally speaking, in early March. Okay. So like at the latest.
This is April.
Yeah. Juilliard sends acceptance letters by April 1st.
Yeah.
That's,
so they've gotten the
they know they're in.
Juilliard is making like a weird exception.
Yeah.
It feels, again, this all feels like it's put on as a stage. Like he's about to get into the school and I'm like, I wonder if the school is just also an extension of his mansion. Like, is it all just, yeah.
Can I also offer the theory that according to the logic of the second movie, Troy can only go somewhere where he has a scholarship. So, right? Because he can't afford it.
They're poor. Big
Correct.
quotes,
so
they're poor.
That means the reason he's going to U of A is he got the scholarship at the end of the second movie.
You're right.
Right? So the only way he could go to Juilliard is if he gets this scholarship. Right? That makes the stakes of it actually make sense.
Right. And again, it seems like this is a world where even the super rich need
scholarships.
Yeah,
this is like the Trump watch of expenses, the college. It's just like, how much money does it actually cost? Multiply by 10. It's way more money. It's like $2 million a year or whatever the fuck. It's something crazy.
Yeah. This is a weird, it's a very weird, none of it makes sense.
No, I'm just trying to like,
but
do the math. You have to, what is this?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think it's good. I like that you're doing the math. I'm glad you did the work.
Yeah.
Because I think it really helps.
Dave.
Yeah, what it says to me is that either the people we're watching there's something wrong with them, with their brains. Again, gaslight, government experiment, nothing time. They're skipping days. They're in time loops. They don't something's fundamentally wrong with their brains and they don't understand what's going on around them. And they're all kind of just bumping into each other in the night. Or this is all being put on for someone.
Yeah.
Either it's happening in their brain as they slowly die, or they're being Truman
showed. Yeah. 100%. And I can't stress enough. I do think it's Sharpay. It could be Troy though. Like I agree that
those are the
Troy.
two biggest candidates, I'd say.
So when he breaks into school, he wears a hoodie.
Yeah.
And for a brief moment, I was like, is he going to burn the school down?
Yes.
Is that going to happen?
It would have been so good.
We also discovered, and this is why I did the basketball research, they've retired his number. His number has been retired since the championship game.
Is that amazing?
I'm going to posit that takes 1 month's time at least to get your number retired.
I really get the vibe that he is either the son of the richest person in the world.
Yeah. Right.
Or he has superpowers.
Yeah.
Like
we didn't see it in the basketball, please.
Because they treat him like he's a fucking celebrity.
Like if to retire your number at a high school, you had to be so awesome. And let's be honest.
I mean, that basketball game, they really turned it around.
They did.
Remember
40 points in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So that was very impressive.
But that was Poochie.
It was mostly Poochie. Briefly though, I don't think they even do that unless you play in the NBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have a stellar career and then you play in the NBA, then they retire.
They do it after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. But okay.
No, that's what it is.
Let's put it in the movie's timeline. That's 1 month later. So we're at least in May. At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he does the thing we said he should have done in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
He does a sad song in the empty school.
Mm-hmm. I liked that song.
Puts on, he changes into his shirt. That was it, the hoodie, and then he goes in the locker room and starts stripping, and I was like, is he going to take a shower?
Are they going to weight him down? Are they going to wet him down?
Are they going to wet him down? Yeah. He puts on a Wildcat shirt, and then he goes to get pummeled by balls. He goes in the gym and he gets pummeled by balls. They rain balls on him. And I was waiting for one to just clock him in the face.
Just one.
Just to fall and never get back up.
Boom. Yeah, but nope. Didn't happen.
It's CGI balls. And then to really clinch the CGI, it becomes Inception. He gets Incepted.
Yes.
Yeah.
This director really likes Bob Fosse, by the way. They made a joke about it, but like a lot of the dance numbers felt very Michael Jackson-y.
Yes, it's lightning.
Yeah.
And like a storm happens.
Yeah.
It's very cerebral. He's walking on the ceiling and the walls, singing about I don't fucking know how he's sad.
I'm gonna scream.
Yeah, this was one of the most vague songs, which was just like I'm mad now.
Yeah, I agree. Didn't necessarily need it. I started to think about like, is this movie the musical equivalent of Beau is Afraid, where it's like the protagonist doesn't do anything, stuff just happens, and instead of drinking paint. It's just basketballs show up, or like, you know.
Yeah, it really feels that way.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He kind of fucks up the school. I think he messes with the banners.
He messes with his oversized banner.
Vandalizing. He's vandalizing the school.
Okay, the banner is atrocious, and I don't mean it's a high quality banner. You can't. You could not do that to a high schooler and expect them to have anything approaching human humility. If you put like a
again, he's so popular that it's
stupid.
Like,
it's like a Michael Jordan sized banner. It's so dumb. Then at some point, you know, this is where he finds out that the teacher's the one that sent him. He has a
scream. He does a Michael Jackson scream. He
screams.
At the end, on the stage, and then we learn that the teacher is sitting alone in the dark in this school.
Right. It's me, Austin. It was me.
I was like, is she a ghost?
Yeah.
Does she live at the school?
Yeah. We've never found she's never been anywhere but there. Can everyone see her? You know?
It's a horror. It's like like she came with the school.
Yeah.
And can anybody else see her?
That's a big question. Big question.
And she's just lurking in the darkness.
Yeah.
And she has this very serious conversation with him about, I'm the one who Juilliard.
Yeah, it was me. That's so Dave, my all-time favorite reveal for comedy is Vince McMahon ripping off his mask in WWE when who is the higher power that runs the Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness, and it was him, and he just screams, "It was me, Austin!" And I need I need you to watch it. I need everyone to watch it and have it with them for the rest of their lives.
Yes,
it's very good. That's what this was. It's me, Austin.
It was me all along. It's a plot twist.
It's so good
because they do start where he's like, "Who?" So this was what was funny about the Juilliard stuff.
Yeah,
is it starts with her going, They all want Troy, and Troy has a moment where he goes like, "Why does Julia know about me?" And she's like, "Apparently they do."
Yeah.
The movie wanted us to wonder,
who did it?
How did that happen?
Yes.
Me, I was like, well, Troy's the best at everything and good at golfing and basketball and singing. So it's like,
they must have heard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like I never questioned it.
This movie's
bad
reveal
enough. Was like,
the movie's bad enough that you didn't have the dilemma because it could have just not thought about that.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's like it's so badly written that it was like, oh, this reveal to this twist to something that I didn't even know was supposed to be a thing.
Right. Like it's on. Sometimes it feels almost like Saved by the Bell or some show like that, where it's like yada yada. Here's Casey Kasem. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the vibe. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like a cameo of someone that no one knows.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, where it's like it is I, and it's like who?
Who are you?
Right.
Fine. Then we cut to Vanessa Hudgens being sad at a university, and just the idea of we got to go get these shots now, Vanessa. Like, let's run around to the university and get her being sad.
Yeah, because I do think some of them were shot in L.A. or in California.
They look like it.
I read that.
It looks like it was at UCLA. So it's just her running around. They're like, okay, you're really sad. Now walk toward the camera.
In this room. You're sad in this room.
You're sad on a bike. Ride the bike.
You're eating the corn on the cob, and you're sad. Yeah. It is that.
That's a very funny day of filming. Yeah. Anyway.
This is where the line happens from the composer, because they nearly die in rehearsal. The set nearly falls on them.
Yeah.
I think it's to show that everything's falling apart around them.
Literally again. They have no metaphors in this movie.
Right. And we learn here that Sharpay is taking Gabriella's place because she has abandoned the play.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's important because right now, so they butted in. She gives the line, without Gabriella, this musical would have just been another Sharpay show. And that's where I wrote, it's never been another Sharpay show.
Right. Could we get one of those, please?
Yeah, they've butted into every single endeavor Sharpay has done, even her personal ones.
The ones her family pays for.
Yeah, her talent show aspirations. They made it's the opposite. Every fucking thing has to be the Troy show.
Yes.
That's what actually has happened every fucking time.
And I think she's just trying to join forces so she can have her musicals back.
Right.
You know, like
yes, that's the thing. She's compromising. She's like, all right, I'll do the duet with you, Troy.
Right.
Like she just wants to be on stage for Juilliard to see her.
She's like Woody when he realized I need Buzz if I'm ever going to see Andy again.
Right.
So I may as well be friends with Buzz.
Because she has this, her songs are like, I wanted all delusions of grandeur, but she's not being like, I guess that what we're supposed to believe is she wanted to push Gabrielle out. So I think this is what we're supposed to believe. Is
so
that
she can have the big singing part.
Wanted to make Gabrielle decide, fuck it, I'm getting out of here. So she could have, but the thing is that her early acceptance to Stanford did that already. The first conflict is Gabrielle is going to Stanford early and can't be at the play. That's happening whether or not Sharpay gets involved.
Right. Sharpay affected nothing here. Ultimately.
Exactly. She already got what she wanted.
Right.
And so like now this is like the stakes, I guess, is like, oh no, he's going to have to do the dreaded duet with Sharpay. And it's like, I don't know, man. And spoilers, who cares? He's not gonna.
No, he's not gonna. Because he decides to go have a prom alone at Stanford with Vanessa Hudgens, which is very cute.
And this is where she calls him, because this is what's funny is he he tells her to go and she moves away, right?
Yeah.
And she remember in that conversation she does say goodbye to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not goodbye. And I only point that out because in this scene, he says, why do you keep saying goodbye? And I'm like, read the fucking room.
Yeah, she doesn't want it, bro.
Troy. Yeah. She's moved
on, bro.
Out.
Yeah.
She packed her entire house and left.
Yeah. She's seeing someone new, man. She's happy, man. It is what it is.
The only thing I wrote is in this conversation, maybe I misheard. Did she say, I can't be a little adult right now, Troy? I hope you understand that.
Yeah, I didn't know what exactly the line there was. I think the idea was like, "Hey, I'm gonna fall apart on the phone here."
Oh, okay.
I think that's the idea of it. I do think she said what you said. She said, and I didn't know what that meant. I was like,
felt
what?
Like she fucked up a line and nobody noticed. And then, like at that night, she was like, "Oh, I said that wrong."
Yeah, it keeps her up at night. It's like the songs and then like occasional flub lines.
But it's amazing that it's like she packs up her house, moves out, and still has to explain to Troy, like, no, we're broken up.
It's over, Troy.
Yeah.
You're high school, like we were in high school.
And this is where the prom happens, and he drives to California. And so the scene is set up this way. The prom's happening, and Troy's friends are like, well, I'll go to the prom together. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Right, they console him.
And then we see Gabriella getting out of class, a college class, and she's walking out with everybody. And then you just hear, how's it going? Or something like that from the fucking tree.
From the tree. Hey, babe.
And Troy is standing in the tree like he's the Cheshire Cat. And he's like, I've been waiting for 6 hours.
It doesn't matter which way you go.
Yeah. That means he drove to California, which they established takes hours.
Yeah,
they established like he can't get back to the play in time.
That's got to be 10 hours, 5 to 10 hours.
Because he drives back between the prom and the play.
Yeah.
By the way,
are they the same night? I didn't understand that.
I was about to ask that question because it's day where they're dancing, and my understanding of proms is that they happen in the evening.
Typically.
Yeah.
Typically.
Maybe it's, I don't know.
I think time started to become a flat circle around this.
Yes.
Yeah,
because what he just did is drove like 10 hours to California.
Right.
Never slept.
No.
broke into Stanford, like wandered into Stanford
to find her. How does he even
found
know where
out where
she
her
is?
he stalked her. He must have went to administration or something.
Yeah.
Found out her class, or maybe said like, where's the the weird program where you're taking high school kids early, but then they have to go back to graduate. And then he waited in a tree outside
and hoped she would cross his
and
path.
hoped she would come out of that door.
Gotta be. Yeah, because he does say, I knew you'd be the last one out.
Right. Because dicks are cheap.
Yeah.
And he has to do this.
I got nothing but time.
No conflicts.
No, it went fine. She also wasn't creeped out by him being there, which I think any woman would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's where I'm going to defend Troy a little bit.
Wow.
Because he said, he says to her, you might be done with whatever the school's called. East High. But East High, oh God, I just realized those are just two directions.
Yeah.
East and High.
Yeah.
And he says, but East High isn't done with you.
Yeah.
And so what I realized about this is she's kind of the Troy of this one, the way Troy did what he did in the last one. Because when you step back from it, and we've stressed it, but what they're saying is that Gabrielle got into Stanford. Her friends were like, you should go, man. And then she moved away without, I think, telling anybody or saying goodbye. She ghosted the entire town that might have thought she was dead.
Oh,
like there's no,
that would have been interesting.
That's what she did, right? She just did the biggest Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
Because that's what they imply. There's no, nobody is ever told that she's moving. It just happens.
We weren't told until it was a montage.
So like when you think of it that way, it kind of like, and then her calling him and being like, we're broken up. It kind of makes sense that somebody, not even necessarily Troy, would go there and go like, are you okay?
Yeah. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Have you been kidnapped? What happened? Is your mom treating you okay? You just vanished. And that was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
And so that's essentially what he's saying to her is like, you can't just ghost everybody. We like you. And so when you think of it in that context, it's like, yeah, what she did was colossally fucked up.
It would, yeah. I mean, actually, it is the kind of thing her character would do if you accept her the way she was introduced in the first movie, where she's like moving around a lot, never had any real friends forever. So she moves on a bunch like that.
Right. She moves on a bunch, but it's like, that just should have happened the first movie then, like,
yeah, I agree.
Where it's like, she's already planted roots.
Yeah.
She's like a nomad, apparently.
It is strange. It is very strange. Yeah. So
here comes the show. He brings her back.
Right. Which promotes Rocket Man, the understudy, to he has
to step in.
Yeah. Rocket Man has been reading the game.
Yes. And nobody likes him, and apparently he smells terrible because Tiara and Sharpay are both like
they're grossed
revolted,
out by him.
like physically revolted by him.
I mean, I think they're kind of one particular slice of opinion.
Yes.
But I agree
he
with
is,
you.
in fact, he's dressed like Mystery. He did read the game. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he does. Like he's like straight up making moves on every woman that he meets. And he's like, whoa.
And the crowd loves it.
Oh,
he loves his accosting of these. So like he shows up again, dressed like Glam Kid Rock and like fedoras.
So what's important here is he's late to the queue and the music changes like a wrestler's entrance theme.
Yes.
Like it's
okay.
like
Well, I want to back up even more. I want to back up even more.
All right.
Because when they establish him as the understudy, the other reveal when they establish is that he doesn't know how to dance or sing.
Right.
And it's sort of this idea of like, yeah, you're the big quotes understudy because we all know Troy's going to be here.
Right.
And no one's worried.
Yeah.
And so then it's this realization of like, oh my God, he's actually going to have to go up there. And no conflict because so what happens is Sharpay does her side of the song. Apparently the way this duet works is that one person does one part of the song.
And he does the other part.
And then one person does the other. It's split down the middle. Jesus fucking Christ. And Sharpay.
It's an even split.
Does great. She's fine.
She's doing fine. Yeah.
And Juliet's watching. And then fucking Poochie misses the cue.
Yeah.
And when he misses the cue, the Juilliard people get real
They're very
judgy
upset
of Sharpay.
Yeah, like
Sharpay.
you're fucking up.
Yeah.
No scholarship
like,
for you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's like, why does everybody hate her?
Yeah, what did she do other than entertain you?
Do?
Yeah.
She's trying her fucking best. And then yes, the music, it's like they wrote new music. Because
it is a WWE wrestler's entrance theme. It is a different thing, a different song, a different vibe. He comes out to applause. Like it's like we just abandoned the pretense.
Like,
yeah, here he comes. Oh shit, it's Triple H. You know what I mean? Like you could have heard fucking JR over there calling it, you know?
Yeah.
It was wild. Yeah.
And he does, that's the sex pestis of performances.
Yes, he does.
And she is visibly disturbed and trying to get away. And then she leaves, and the audience is like, more you, baby.
More Rocket Man.
And he's just out there being Rocket Man.
They're cheering
for him. Rocket Man.
Yeah, they love him. A star was born that day.
Yes.
Yeah. His senior year. That's, I hope, what the entire TV series is about.
The ending should have been
TV show.
Yeah, it should have been Juilliard picking him and then revealing that no one else gets to go to school at all.
Yeah.
You're all banned demoted from school. Yeah.
None of you get to go to school. Yeah. Rocket Man gets to go to every school.
Every school is Rocket Man U. We love Rocket Man.
We love Rocket
Troy
Man.
And his fedora.
That would have been great.
So this is where Troy has abandoned everybody to go smooch his lady.
I need to point out quickly though, Sharpay, before she gets jilted by this sex pest, gets a phone call from her parents. Where are you now? England? India? Oh, you're in the audience. Okay. Like this very, very traumatic.
Right, we want to show her sad upbringing. Like it's that thing. It's the thing that movies do when they want to humanize a villain in a way that they're going to get redemption.
Yes.
And what's wild is they do this and then they just beat her down.
Yeah.
Like they don't give her any redemption. Yeah.
Yeah.
They give her a win, and we'll talk about it in a second because she has to earn it with no help. See what happens here. So Troy has abandoned the school musical and the duet.
Yes.
He's abandoned Sharpay. Gabrielle abandoned them weeks ago or whenever. She hasn't been to any rehearsals.
Right.
She doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
And Troy shows up and says, "Hey, I have Gabriella. Let's give her a part and I'll do my duet with her. Sharpay, you go away." And it's like, I wanted to blow up the school.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Like this is the meanest. They won't stop being the meanest people to Sharpay. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Gabrielle did not earn that. They should all be like, "Hey, fuck you. You moved. You left us.
You can't be in the musical now, man."
Yeah, you didn't come to any of them. And they're like, "She's fine. She can be in." And they just whip up a song.
It's the same song, Dave. The one we just saw. It's the same song. Yeah.
They're like, "Let's just do that song again."
And Juilliard's like, "I love this shit." You know, like it's outrageous.
They basically just go like, let's sabotage Sharpay. Let's upstage her song.
Meanwhile, we cut to her, and you could have heard Simon and Garfunkel like "Hello Darkness."
Yes.
Like a little too sad.
She's in the dressing room putting on Joker makeup. Yeah. Like she's just she is.
It is awful in there, man. Brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal what they've done to her.
They took her song, they sabotaged her song, which is her only one shot at it. And then the part she should have had because she got displaced, it turns out the understudy's playing her part.
So yes, the understudy took her part. I didn't understand this because she goes in the dressing room and basically now, okay, we get Tiara's plan. I just realized that I had so much.
You had a lot of notes here.
Notes. Yeah. My other note is that the entire school is involved in the musical.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's in the audience?
Who's watching it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the party.
They have a song about how it's their last chance to shine. And I was like, it's objectively not that. No. I forgot that this is like the full musical. They sing "I Want It All." And I was like, that's the fucking all right.
I remember it.
I guess.
Yeah, I remember that.
When they sing that, I want to note that the Juilliard guy murmurs to the other one about Ryan. They say he's the choreographer.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you know that?
Yeah. Maybe the play.
Maybe they were told.
Yeah.
And that is implied why he gets in. Spoilers.
He gets in,
but
because
I was like,
him and
he's good.
Him and the composer are the only two people at all who ever could have gone to Juilliard in this school. It's not close.
But I would argue they should have thrown a pity to Sharpay. Like, this is my issue is like, after all this, it's wild. We've talked about
where
it.
she ends up. Yeah. I agree.
So Troy, he abandoned her on stage, Kid Rock. All right, so the British lady, she walks into the dressing room. The British lady is getting ready, Tiara, and she just says, "I'm taking your song."
Yeah, and I guess that's it.
Right,
Okay.
just choke her to death, put her in a trunk.
Exactly. That you've done that before. Come on.
Right, or just say no. You can't just take a song. Like no one. I'm here. Everybody knows I'm here. You can't just like.
If I got bumped, you got bumped.
Right.
That's how it is. You know.
It didn't make any sense, and this is where we start learning the reveal of the villain. So she apparently, Tiara, if you can explain it.
Okay, I'm ready.
She went to the London Academy of Arts.
Yeah.
And then she came to this school specifically to betray Sharpay and get into Juilliard, to get into the music. Is that what I got from this?
Or just a sabotage? Because she's going to be there another year.
Right.
She's a junior.
I don't know, because she started, if she was in the London Academy of Arts,
then you're doing better already.
Right. She says, like, you don't know this. And she's like, I went to the Academy of Arts. And it's like, okay, then Juilliard next, right?
Right. What
are
we doing?
Stay in the, I guess maybe the idea is she was forced to move by her parents.
Yeah.
And she's like making do.
I think it's the story of what is everybody doing for work in this town? That's like, how close to Area 51 are we here?
Yeah,
you know
there needs to be an audit, there needs an investigation, basically, where it's like you look at all these kids and you go like, something's not right.
Yeah.
Because they're shipping in kids from England now, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what this girl, her plan was. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I also got very frustrated enough that I blacked out for a good 20 minutes of this movie. Earlier when she got the plan and she did I have a plan face, like way earlier, right? When she like finds out that Gabriella has been admitted, she does the I have a plan face, and then we get a bassoon that gets us all the way. I hate it. The bassoon got us all the way to her telling Sharpay, and I was like, come on, man. I already fucking know. Anyway.
So we're hour 2 into the show that they're putting on. It's so long.
Yeah.
Just the moral is basically some people are naturally great at everything, like basketball and singing and being popular, and it's their obligation to bulldoze anybody struggling.
Yeah.
Because basically what happens is Sharpay has to fight to save herself. This was another missed opportunity for when people saw the British lady, because she comes down in the song,
right,
and everybody looks surprised. This was an opportunity for them to go like, we need to help Sharpay for once. Yeah. And let's help her upstage. Yeah. But no, Sharpay has to drag herself out of a ditch, essentially do it alone, and upstage this woman on stage, this other girl, and fight for it while everybody laughs and points. And they're like, oh, she's a fool. And it's like, give her, this is her song. This wasn't even anybody's song but hers. Give her fucking something.
She's not Cruella de Vil. She's not trying to make a coat out of your dogs.
Right. I can't stress
settle
enough.
Down, you know?
They forgot to give Sharpay something unforgivable or even bad to do in this film.
Right.
They just assumed we would hate her. And there's no reason to hate her.
Not really. She's fun. I can't hate somebody that's fun.
In fact, I respected her for this. Where I'm like, Sharpay, the scene is she's looking in the mirror, all is lost. She's going to put on the Joker makeup. Yeah. And then she looks herself in the mirror and basically gives herself a pep talk and is like, no, fuck the haters.
You don't do this. She slaps herself. You don't do this. You don't lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You don't lose.
She says,
Sharpay doesn't lose. Yeah.
And she basically just goes out and does it all herself. And I was like, nobody helped her. She's the only character who has to go it completely alone. And she does it. And she gets on stage. This is their win.
Let's be clear. Her parents don't care about her.
They don't love her.
No, they don't love her. They were gone maybe the entire year. She has no idea where they are or when they're coming home.
Helicoptered into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In garb from India, by the way.
Yeah.
It was not chill. It's a real Cruel Intentions thing going on here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So they make it cutesy where it's like, oh, that's our bit. We're competing. And then and that's that. And I guess it's fine. Whatever. and then we get the ending song. Unless you want to get, I'm at the ending song.
Yeah, no. So they tell us the scholarships have been awarded to the only two people who could have ever gotten them if this world wasn't insane.
This is the endings part.
Yeah.
Sorry, when I meant ending song, I meant
this song.
Play.
Oh,
Because they do a song, and then they show up in graduation robes on the play.
Right.
And I was like, that's cute. That's the idea, because it's a play about their lives, that they're like, and this is the day we're waiting for. And the teacher comes on stage, the drama teacher, and proceeds to actually seemingly graduate them. This is what was
very
weird.
Confusing. It was like, is this happening right now? I don't understand.
Right.
We're announcing our choices.
Right. So she goes up and says, and so the Juilliard scholarships go to, and I'm like, is this the Oscars? Like, so that means that the Juilliard people like ran in the back, told her, like,
yeah.
And so she announces those, and like we said, the composer gets it and Ryan gets it.
So
and that's
Dave,
good.
I think what that means is this whole pageant was never a competition for the scholarships.
No,
like because you could look at it and know who's going to win.
They seem to know. They all seem to know, because what happens is then she then announces where everybody else is going.
Yeah.
Meaning that she's God and she's saying this is what your life is.
Yeah.
Like she's predicting it. Her eyes are rolling in the back of the head.
Yeah,
like,
here it is.
Or they all already knew and they wrote it down and told her. And they were like, for the ending performance, because she basically is just like anointing them where they're going to go.
Yeah.
Telling them their fate. I wanted her to say how they'll each die.
Yeah.
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 And then she goes to Troy and goes, but what about you? Where are you going to go? So she knows that Troy's is a decision that he gets to make.
Right. He's the only
everybody else is faded.
Non-NPC in this number.
It's really like heightened reality. I don't know where we are anymore. I don't know if we're in Troy's mind. And Troy says, I'm going to Berkeley. And I was like, that is the funniest place for Troy to go.
For either thing. Like, Berkeley. Yeah, that's where they have all the drama.
Yep. He's like, I'm going
there
for basketball and singing and drama and acting.
Yeah.
And
Berkeley.
Smoking that weed.
Yeah, come on. It was also like, and Berkeley's not easy school to get into.
They're gonna eat him alive.
Yeah,
get
out of here.
Berkeley, I imagine him. He'll go to Berkeley and see like cleavage and dissolve. He'll just puddle and he'll just he'll smell weed and he'll die.
Right.
Berkeley. He's going to Berkeley. I want to see him High School Musical, the college years, where he's protesting.
Yeah, when he hasn't he's gained his freshman 15.
Right, and we learned that he chose it because of its specific mileage, the proximity.
The proximity to Stanford.
And it's like, that is the worst answer to where are you going to go? It's such a because the whole movie has been, are you going to stay home? Are you going to go to Juilliard? What's your choice going to be? And he just goes, by the way, Berkeley.
Yeah.
And it's like, you never even mentioned. His dad should scream, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And stand up and be like, we just had this conversation. I was just saying.
I'm not raising a fucking hippie. He's
right, but
so
it was
mad.
Just his literal thing was, I'm not mad. You just have to tell me. And he announces he's going to Berkeley. And I guess his dad's like, I guess we have to move to Berkeley by the rules.
Yeah, that's right. That changes all their jobs. I think he was really trying to get his son to stay there so he could keep his job as a coach. I love coaching. Can we not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does he know? It's the world. Again, it's Truman Show where he's like, I pick Berkeley.
Yeah.
And Berkeley is like, you got it, man. They have billions of dollars. They have that fucking Lockheed Martin money.
Well, but Berkeley is academically pretty competitive. I don't think it's not it's not an Ivy League school where donations help as much.
Right.
But Stanford would have been more believable actually for what he wanted.
Right.
Why didn't he just get into Stanford,
Yeah. I don't know what this movie wants us to think about the process of going to college, because it really seems like it's so this is where, again, the movie is fundamentally flawed, where they want us to think Troy is the underdog and Sharpay and Ryan are the spoiled rich kids. And they literally do the opposite in this movie, where Sharpay and Ryan are like the poor kids fighting for a scholarship that only one of them gets, while Troy, the apparent underdog, gets to point his finger at a school and go, "You,
this one,
this
that
one."
Yeah. Sharpay, the ending for Sharpay is very confusing. Even if I accept everything about the movie as legit and I understand what they've been saying, I don't get the idea that she stays in Albuquerque and sticks around that high school. That is the opposite of what you presented her to be.
She's the first one to leave. And again, Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure seems to imply that she's getting the fuck out of there.
She would have gone to a community college in Manhattan. That's what she would have done.
And yes, she has her song. You're right. It's so tragic when you really pick it apart. It's like they hated her and they wanted her to suffer in a way that was mean. Yeah. Because they set her up as saying, "I want it all. I want to go to New York. I want to be a star in New York."
Yeah, she wants to be a Broadway star.
Right.
Very
and
clearly.
You'd think the ending, Ryan gets into Juilliard, and you'd think he could turn to his sister and go because remember when he says there's only one scholarship, and she says, "Well, we're twins. We're a package deal."
Right. Well, that's insane, but yeah.
But it's insane. It's a lie. She knows it.
Right.
But you can literally this is such bad writing because they set that up. You have a scene here where Ryan gets in, Sharpay doesn't, because that was literally that they set up the idea that Sharpay was going to fuck her over. And you could have Sharpay be sad and Ryan go, "Hey, we're twins. We're a package deal. We'll find a school."
Yeah, I'm not going to Juilliard. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or we'll get you in. We'll pay.
Yeah.
Come to New York.
Yeah.
But just instead they're
come to go to Columbia or NYU or whatever,
Right. And this movie is so mean to her that they undercut her own arc tragically to make sure everybody knows she suffers.
Yeah, right. Just to make sure that she can take stupid revenge on this understudy who's who cares?
Yeah, for the crime of doing nothing.
It's really bad. It's unsatisfying on a you don't want this kid to fail.
And I don't want her to live there and be spiteful of this understudy.
No, it was very strange. The decisions they made about her character at the end of every film were wrong. They were wrong every time. I
feel like if you found the yearbook of the writer of this movie, there would be a girl named Sharpay in that yearbook.
100% with a death note on her. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like this is getting out aggression for someone that he hated that we don't hate. They never earn Sharpay being punished this much.
It's weird.
And she's fine with it. And every time she takes it like a champ. That's what makes it worse.
Yeah.
Every time
she's good at showbiz. She's good at it. Yeah. Putting on a smiling face.
It makes her the most inspiring character because it's like this person that life keeps shitting on, that nobody likes, that by this movie hasn't even done anything that bad. And she keeps rolling with it and saying, I'll do it. I'll persevere.
She actually shows a lot of good qualities every time something bad happens to her. Interestingly enough.
She doesn't put up a fit.
Yeah. Yeah. She shows smiles. She's mature in some ways.
She dances with them. She gets involved.
Right. I get it. She's not very nice and she's very stuck up.
Yeah.
As a default mode. But she shows character when it matters often in this franchise. Right. It's weird they punish her.
I keep going back to it, but they don't even have the classist, because it's a lot of movies, and this is obviously this is kind of a fallback that movies do that's lazy, is rich equals bad.
Yes.
And they don't even have that here. That's what's wild about it.
Well, it'd be hard to make those delineations in this context.
Because they make Troy also rich.
Yes.
And that's the thing is if the scholarship, for example, you could say no, it's fine. She didn't need it. If the idea was that she didn't need it, she just wanted to take it away from other people for validation. And if you made Troy genuinely poor or middle class,
then it would have made more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's even if they shit on her, you're well, she's rich, she's fine. But it's not even that. Troy, again, seems to have more privilege than her. Ultimately, she has all the privilege. And so it's so weird because she actually feels like the least privileged kid in this school at this point.
Or her privilege doesn't matter
Yeah.
With outcomes, which is the only reason we even talk about privilege, is outcomes. So
exactly.
yeah, it's really strange. I guess I'm glad there's another one for that, like to fix this.
I wonder if maybe they got like enough fan letters or hate where they're like, we have to do something. We have to give her something.
I mean, anyway, I think they do.
I do too. I feel owed that. I feel narratively, I feel emotionally owed by
also
this.
Just the most fun actor, the most fun character. Like, like that's not a thing that you want to shit on if you're a Disney movie.
Right. To me, this is like a horror movie. Like horror movies, a really good a way to do a horror movie is to cut someone's narrative short. That shows, or tragedy, which is like you establish an arc and then the great tragedy is undercutting that arc. And that's the thing, is I feel frustrated the way something like that's supposed to make you frustrated. Like she died without unceremoniously, and it's like, I need this. I need Sharpay to be okay and to be validated. And I want Troy dead.
I want Troy to die. Because that's the only right choice. The only right choice.
We've gotten to the part where the movie refuses to end.
Yeah, this is true of all of them, by the way, where it's like the movie is over, but they want to have one last number, but it's like, but you already had one last number.
Right. And the number goes on for a year.
Yeah, it's really long. It's the number that is called High School Musical. Yes, so it's pretty clear they were like, we're done after this. Like, this is it.
This is the song that's just, it's a High School Musical, everybody. The dog graduates. I didn't know it was a student, but that's cool.
The cutaway to the dog. Was pretty epic.
They're wearing these demonic robes, this white and red.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was like robes are usually black, and I bet I know aesthetically.
Oh, not in high school.
Like, okay,
I thought it was in high school.
I thought it was like aesthetically, like it looks better dancing, but it felt like cult robes.
Well, nobody's allowed to wear blue at this school. It's pretty epic, or yellow, or any.
They do it to form a wildcat, but kind of.
I don't think they would do that. Like what drone is watching this, by the way? It's
heightened reality, but it's also funny that the movie thinks we care about the wildcats as a thing.
Like, I'd love every movie from now on to realize we're never going to be invested in the high school. Never.
Yeah. The team. Never. Why would we care about the team?
Never.
We see that Gabrielle does in fact graduate.
Neat. I was done with the movie at this point. The only thing that was interesting to me about it was coming back. They do this thing where Zac Efron explains like the significance of what we've watched here, and then they talk about two people that are going to stay friends the rest of their lives, and they cut to.
Is this like post credits or something?
No. This is in his valedictorian speech. By the way, he has a valedictorian speech.
I blacked out for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that means he was valedictorian, but he's giving a speech, so one assumes that's what it means.
Right. He talks about how like we broke down barriers.
Yeah, which was like, no, you fucking didn't.
No,
but then he talks about people who are going to stay friends their whole lives, and it cuts to Chad and Taylor, right?
Yeah.
And we're realizing, oh, she's going to Yale, he's going to U of A. They're not going to make it as a couple. And it's like,
she's the one who was like, she's the dicks are cheap. She was
yes, they're the ones having the real version of the story. I know I said it before, but this is when it really kind of lands. It's like, oh shit,
right. And they're acting like, no, they'll be fine.
But they won't be.
Yeah, you know what this needed is like a 6 Feet Under ending.
Oh,
where we see everything play out. And we know
if only Dave.
Who died in the war. Yeah, like all that stuff.
Who died in the security business.
The future war. Yeah.
Which one of them lived to 108 somehow. And
exactly.
You're like, really? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that is striking, because you're right. That is a moment where you're like, yeah, it should have been their story. I get Troy and Gabrielle. They seem like in another movie, they'd be the bullies. He does a bully. He acts like a bully in this movie. And they're like the popular kids that everything good happens to. They're good at everything, and they get to do whatever they want and steal clothes.
I think
it's like in another movie, they wouldn't be the main characters.
I think if they made this movie now, they wouldn't be the main characters. I think that we're just more culturally aware of this than we were in 2009 or whenever they made this movie. Right? When did this movie get made? Let's see.
I want to mention that in their dance, they form a great satanic snake. to signal that. They tremble. They literally do like this trembling dance as a snake. And I was like, again, it feels satanic. And then we can go jump around, but this refused to end to such a point that then they cut to the High School Musical logo.
Yeah.
The core cast is there. They jump in the air and it freeze frames.
Yeah. And
then instead of credits, it unfreeze frames.
Yeah, it was like, what? Yeah.
And then there's more song. And I was like, just
be over. Like, what are you, Return of the King? Get the hell out of here.
Then there's an outtake reel. And I
didn't care for that. They made these one every year. For 3 years they made this. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's exhausting. Yeah. They knew. They were like, these kids are gonna get old and hideous. I mean, they're already in their 20s. And they're gonna break away. Let's just get it done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they were willing to stop doing it after 3. Quite honestly.
Yes. Well, they made a show. I think they didn't. They had so apparently there was a reality TV series where for Sharpay's Big Adventure. Oh no, I think it might have been for this actually.
Okay.
The winners of that I didn't look this up. Is that who Poochie is? What it is they did a contest where the winners got to be involved.
Okay.
In, I think this movie. So there was a whole other show. And then they did
maybe that's who Poochie is. Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And then they did another musical television show. They did Sharpay. So like they did Bleed This Dry, but it is surprising that they ended this story of Gabrielle and Troy. And I'm glad they did. They're not interesting.
There's not much. Yeah, there's not more to it. I am surprised they never tried to do a college version of this. I get that it's High School Musical. I get that, but like
college musical,
like
Berkeley
as though he couldn't
musical.
do that. Yeah, come on. Well, that's the problem. They sent him to Stanford and Berkeley, and I don't know if you see that.
They're protesting fucking
right.
Palestine, and then they're getting beaten by riot cops.
They all be at University of Albuquerque, right? Like they, had the meteor struck hitting all of California or whatever.
Right. Exactly. Or it just be, I want high school, or I want gas station musical where they've graduated. Sure. They didn't make it because statistically being a basketball player or a singer doesn't work out. Yeah. And they're all at the gas station and they're singing and dancing.
The same gas station. Or they're back in that country club.
Yeah. Gabrielle's off doing stuff because she went for her wicked smarts. But like, it's just like Troy and Sharpay and Ryan just hating each other.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's always sunny in Philadelphia, but then.
Well, but let's be clear. Sharpay is now like relaxing somewhere in Greece, spending her parents' money forever. Right. I think that's what she's doing.
I want to predict where these people will be, but Sharpay, we don't know yet. We haven't finished.
We don't know for sure. Yeah. We don't know. But I think we can, if you want to do the 6 Feet Under endings for some of these characters, I'm happy to do it, Dave.
Yeah.
If that's how you want to end this, that's already been, by the way, 3 hours.
Yeah. Troy died on the way to Berkeley. That's got to be Poochie, right?
Yeah, Poochie exploded in a Kid Rock accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he died at a party or something. Yeah, it's very tragic.
Somebody discovered all of his photos and they put him in jail immediately.
Yeah,
here's what all the photos were.
Dead.
Yeah, like he had the Hangover ending, but those photos were all illegal, and he went to jail immediately. That's what happened.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a thought for Gabrielle, but I don't want to hog it.
Oh no, I'm enjoying this game. I want to see where you go.
I think she designs weapons for the military.
Yeah, that's what she. It's family business.
Yeah,
yeah.
She seems very kind, but I think she's actually she is responsible for more deaths than a lot of people.
For sure.
Think, ultimately.
For sure. I think Chad gets into modeling briefly.
Yep.
Like someone's like, you're handsome, athletic. What are you doing at U of A? Right. Like it starts with he's in they put him in the put him in the catalog and some model sees him somewhere. So they take him to New York. He briefly gets a life going out there, runs into Sharpay. Sharpay is PAing on this model shoot, trying desperately to find a way in so that they'll finally want to take pictures of her. Not going to happen.
No.
She gets incredibly jealous of him and sabotages his model career. And then he ends up back in Albuquerque where his dad finally owns the junkyard for him. He buys the junkyard and he runs it.
And he owns the I like that. Where was Taylor going?
Yale. She becomes president.
So she becomes New England Yale shit. Yeah, president. Yeah. I like president.
That's what she wanted. She said
she becomes president of the United States of America.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she also is responsible for so many deaths.
Oh, yeah.
She has contracts with Gabrielle.
Yeah.
They really under the table, like real fucking conspiracy
For
shit,
sure.
deep state.
Well, actually, part of it starts because she gets in touch with Sharpay's parents, who it turns out are informants. You know what I mean? Like they're working for the government for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're smuggling weapons and shit.
Ryan, I could see him trying to, because I think he has more Hollywood aspirations.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is all to say that I think Scientology and then never heard from again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could have become a leader in that church. Could be dead. Who knows?
Could be dead.
Yeah. Young Mozart, I think. Young Mozart starts writing songs for several shows. You know, she becomes kind of a brief Danny Elfman, but her style goes out of style too fast.
I was gonna say she feels like she'd be like become grunge, or like I hate to say this, but I can see a heroin overdose at 29.
Okay, so you have like sort of a Sarah Lawrence College
like
kind of
troubled
vibe
artist. Yeah, like troubled artist.
She has a whiplash. She does a whole whiplash at Juilliard.
Yes,
that's what happens. But it's for composing, right?
Yes,
like so she runs into J.K. Simmons or the equivalent.
Yes.
He's like, compose faster. My time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whose time are you on? My time.
Exactly.
They're just slapping each other. You know?
That's, oh God, I want that for her.
Yeah, I wanted to have a whiplash. Absolutely. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, she's like, this was nothing like high school.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to break out into song?
Somehow the most helpful person to me was Sharpay, it turns out.
Yeah.
Sharpay was actually preparing me for this.
Yeah.
Are you going to be amateur? Or are you going to be on my fucking time?
Holy shit. What other characters are there?
I mean, the drama teacher gets a whole new set of students and applies all of them to Juilliard next year. She just sends applications for everybody to Juilliard.
At some point, she gets arrested during class.
Yeah, for probably for ogling kids in the shower, which we know she does. Yeah, yeah. Chad's dad divorces his mother because she wants to move and he wants to stay coach forever. He moves into a studio apartment. Dad? Yeah, Troy's dad.
Yeah,
he moves into a studio apartment.
Yep. 100%. And then I could see him being on the Golden Bachelor.
Oh yeah.
Like honestly, like he has studio apartment. I think he starts like wearing leather jackets.
Oh yeah.
Like he starts.
He remembers
going to
leather.
Clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He gets even more Skeet Ulrich in his hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Starts a big DVD collection.
Oh yeah.
You know, really big one. Yeah.
Living the dream.
Yeah. All the Criterion collections, he's got them all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, every one of them. You know?
Oh yeah. He's not allowed in a few bars after a while. Yeah. I can see that.
I feel like we've done it here, right?
He gets stabbed in a pool hall. Yeah, I think we did it. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Tierra, I think she's like a diehard terrorist. I don't know what she's gonna do, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I assume we haven't seen the last of her, but I haven't looked that up. Her name is Tierra Gold.
Okay. Tierra Gold.
I agree with okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't care about her.
Here's what I'll say. I looked her up. We're not gonna see her again.
Oh no. Really?
Yeah, that's it for her.
Tierra Gold, as in Gold Tiara, that's a terrible name. It just now occurs to me.
We watched this movie.
We never see her again? That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's Sharpay's nemesis. I assume she goes on to terrorize this school and win.
I guess. I mean, she could be like she could be mind games or that Sharpay's parents are playing with her, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this is our way of motivating you, honey, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, who knows?
Who could say?
I don't want to say what happens to Sharpay because we don't have all the information.
We don't have all the information.
Yeah, we really need
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, which is the next episode.
Yeah. By the way, what happened to the principal? He was in the first movie. Did he die? Like, what happened to him?
I honestly do not remember the principal.
Yeah, he was like figure in the first
cardiac
movie.
arrest.
Yeah.
Sure. I think he died that summer.
Yeah.
I think he died.
It was very hot out there.
Yeah, and like they were doing graduation, they're like, "Wait, wasn't there a principal?"
Yeah,
like they just don't even think about it.
Or maybe he was running a rival meth gang, and he got rounded up by those
shot
Nazis.
in the head. Yeah. Oh, found in a ditch, shot in the head. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. He was like, if they're doing meth in a high school, I can figure that out. I got more resources.
I mean, watching this movie, statistically, we're seeing at least one murderer on the screen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just math.
That's just math.
Yeah.
That's murder math.
That's math. I don't want to have to say which one it is, but it's got to be that weird kid that you graduated. Congratulations. Got to be him.
Which kid is
Remember, there's a kid. It's like, he was like kind of a joke character in the second movie. Third movie, they barely even brought him back. They were just like, he's here in 2 scenes, and they're like, congrats, you did it, man.
Oh, one more.
Yeah.
I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
The baking kid. I think he gets on a baking show.
Sure.
And that's about it.
Yeah. Like, does he start a restaurant even, or?
Maybe.
Yeah.
He at least cooks in one.
Okay.
I hope.
Yeah. I think he'd be happy doing that.
I want him to become like international famous chef.
But that's just not life.
Yeah, that's just not life.
It's not life.
You know?
Sharpay PAing to get in front of camera, that's life.
Yeah, I think Sharpay is going to become like a very grounded adult.
Oh yeah,
because of her humility that she has to learn, and like I could almost see like her getting cut off or abandoning her family, like start to slum it.
Yeah,
I can see that for her.
Very cool 35-year-old.
Yeah,
like an extraordinarily cool 35-year-old. Like, oh yeah, you've learned a lot in life.
Yeah, maybe she finds her and the composer. If the composer doesn't die of a heroin overdose, they find each other again.
That's a real question.
Yeah,
it's not clear. By the way, I think she's like 3 or 4 years older than everybody on the cast. Ashley Tisdale.
I think so too, because
she's 39
again,
now.
They really sexualized her to
it was
like
weird.
more than the others, where I felt like they were on set more comfortable with it and not thinking about the fact that she's still supposed to be a high school girl.
I think Ashley Tisdale was like more of a thing.
Yeah.
Like when the movie, I think she was more of a presence in.
Right.
I'm looking to see.
I know her name, and when I watched this movie, I was like, "That's what that is." I didn't know that's what Ashley Tisdale was. I just had always heard that name, and it was like it's some honky that like is famous. I don't keep up with all the famous honkies, and then it was like, "Oh, okay. I guess that's what she's famous for."
She was in Scary Movie in 2000.
She was. I saw that.
She was in Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
She was on one of the Bring It Ons.
That scans.
She did something in Bug's Life. I don't know what that is. She was something in Charmed.
I hope for her that she doesn't have to be a high schooler her whole life and then her career ends. Because
she's been doing stuff. Like she's been like romantic leads and stuff since then. Like she's worked a lot, actually.
It's that thing with like I always think about the Shermanator from American Pie, where everybody learned he was a waiter now.
Yeah.
And it's like, what a nightmare to be known as the Shermanator.
Right.
And that's very recognizable.
Yeah.
And have a public job. There's nothing wrong with not acting.
No.
It's just that combination of things.
It's just brutal.
And it's like he had teen face. Like that was what it came down to. Is like, I know why when he became an adult, people were like, do you want to play a hacker, I guess? That's probably it. Because of how Hollywood works. So like her, it's like they're clearly giving her, they're like, you're like ditzy teenage girl, So it's nice. It's nice that she's still doing stuff.
Is her own thing. Like she's a thing also that Disney loves to create. Like Disney loves making these like maniacal stepmother type figures. You know what I mean? Like, and she has a lot of that energy.
Yeah.
She's done fine. Dave, do you realize? So you and I never do this on purpose, but we always get to the point where we're trying to one up ourselves.
We can end. Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm just saying we're going to have to do 3 hours and 15 minutes at least on Sharpay.
Not necessarily, because I haven't run out of things to say. That's the thing.
Oh, I know. I
don't speaking until I feel like
as you should
always say.
As you should. There could never be an end to this. My thing is this franchise wasn't that funny.
You mean these podcasts could get exponentially longer?
Oh yeah, like we're working on
how
chaos
mathematically.
Yeah,
the idea that if you keep going half the distance to something, you'll never technically get to it.
Yeah, Pascal's wager or whatever they call it.
We could be dead, and this could be the afterlife. I don't even want to say hell.
Yeah,
because this doesn't feel like hell to me.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Wait till we have to do like the Babysitters Club or whatever.
Yeah,
that's gonna be pretty bad.
Babysitters Bubs. Yeah.
The Guy Babysitters Club or whatever.
Guy Babysitters, but yeah.
Like we're just like the laziest men there are with the puns at that point. Just
do you think? What if this is what we're known for? What if this is what they hear 100 years from now?
I know.
You know,
I
like
think
when
about
you
that.
hear about famous painters and they died a failure and then they became famous after.
100%.
Where it's like, I'm not saying we'll die a failure, but maybe
it's possible.
This will be for sure. But like this will be the thing, no matter what, that it like lives on the longest.
Have you gone back and listened to any of those 50 Shades of Guy episodes?
Never.
Because I gotta tell you, those were pretty unhinged, man.
I don't listen to the podcasts I immediately do.
Well, you do so many, you really can't. I only listen to them when I'm like, okay, I don't remember that, or like sometimes I listen to like when if I thought, oh, that was kind of controversial, how did it actually sound? You know?
Yeah, I'm not saying I have a bad voice, but I'm one of those people who hates the sound of my voice.
That's good.
So like, I only listen if I absolutely have to, and I will say, just to my own credit, when I do listen to myself, I will go like, oh, that was funny, Dave.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah, you're comical and mellifluous. I agree.
Right. But I still hate it.
Yeah. So, well, that's why, I mean, we should be ashamed of ourselves. like we have nothing to be proud of here.
Who says we aren't ashamed of ourselves?
Yeah. I feel shame. Okay, good. I didn't know you also felt. Oh, good.
For what we're doing here. Yeah.
Great.
We're adults. We're in our 40s.
And we've done this.
Like watching High School Musical. We've really invested in it.
We've given up 3 Mondays. You know what I mean? Like an entire day, really. Like this is like 6 hours of work at least.
13 hours?
Yeah.
14 hours of our lives are spent doing this?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, listen,
it takes like
you're a video game guy. Every time I boot up Satisfactory, it's like you've played for 250 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you telling me this?
I don't want to know it. Yeah, I've played Elden Ring for over 400 hours now.
Yeah.
I know, and it's it's still a lot of work on something that there is absolutely no way I've ever would have watched this without you.
No, why would you?
Like you realize that for me,
I didn't even know if it was going to be good, bad or not, or good.
I know
what.
it wasn't.
It was just like, let's just dive in, see.
I want to know that the next thing is bad, and I don't want it to be bad like I don't like it. I want it to be bad like this is insane. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
and
I
this
need
was
more of
pretty
that.
Unhinged.
Yeah.
And again, we're not done yet. We still have Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure.
And who knows what that'll be.
But like, that's kind of my fear, is that we'll watch something that's just normal.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if we do that, we could always go like, all right, pack it up. Never mind. You know?
Yeah.
But it is better to watch it in advance. Like, I think the Divergence will be fairly normal. That's why I'm kind of hesitant with
Have you seen them?
Yeah, I saw like one, and it was more that it was mediocre. I don't know. I can watch it again.
It wasn't Twilight.
It was not Twilight.
Yeah, Twilight was really magnificent.
It's more like Maze Runner, you know. I miss Twilight.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that,
that
until
was special.
the TV show.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, because that's happening. Are we gonna watch that?
Yeah, probably. Man. We might have to have a Guy-Light series.
That's a lot.
Or we just go through each episode. And it doesn't even matter if that's good or not. We'll just have to do it.
I know I've asked you this before. When does it end? You know what I mean? Like, when are we like done doing it? Yeah. Is it when we die? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna be 70 years old and like this is our bit still?
Yeah, when they decide that it ends, when they let us.
When they decide. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oof. Like I have to apply for university jobs sometimes, Dave. Like, just to teach.
Do you add this? You say that I did this
Absolutely
podcast?
Not. Do you know how terrified I would be if they did a Google search? The first thing they landed on when determining my artistic endeavors is 50 Shades of Guy.
I would imagine what's more terrifying is if you were like interviewing and the guy squinted and looked at you and went, Guy-Light.
Yeah.
And like
that's where
recognized you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Can you imagine? Well, Guy-Light's not that bad.
50 Shades of Guy is.
Yeah. We got into sex rooms and
damn right we got into sex rooms.
Sex Ratatouille. It was.
Yeah.
I guess
we need a
seared
hashtag
in my brain. Oh yeah.
That can be it for this too. Sex Ratatouille. I don't see why not. But yeah, no, I 50 Shades of Guy is. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not, because see, the thing is about shame.
I'm not proud of it, Dave.
See, I have to. This is part of not listening, where it's like I'm incapable of shame if I don't listen.
Well, you're one of those guys that you realize, as long as I keep up the blizzard, no one will be able to find one snowflake from another.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like as long as they continue to shove content.
A fire hose of bullshit.
Yeah, here it is. You'll never pick one piece out. Not, or if you do, it won't be the worst one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your gamble.
I'm hoping that it's like you're on to the next thing before you can register the words coming out of my mouth.
Right. It's hashtag fire hose of bullshit, I think is what we
Yeah. Fire hose of bullshit.
Yeah. Put that on Twitter, I guess. If there even is Twitter.
Right.
By the time this comes out.
Yeah, this is coming out after the election.
We keep saying
during
that.
the holidays.
And it keeps being like, oh man.
You know what's gonna happen? I've been thinking about.
Oh, I'm ready.
Is we're gonna be on vacation. I'm hopefully gonna tweet I'm sure I'll tweet this stuff out. I'll know to tease it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get tweets of people saying stuff, and I'm gonna be like, I have no idea
what you're
talking
about. Yeah, what are you talking about?
And they're gonna be like, I can't I'm gonna be like, who is Sharpay?
Yeah, I won't know.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Nope. We didn't talk much about this, but Sharpay and Ryan are the names of these two kids. Sharpay and Ryan. Right. like that's
like it's like they used it all up on her.
They maxed out
Ryan
on her.
Born.
Yeah, that's right. Just no creativity was put into him. He's been proving himself ever since. Yeah. It's like when you're a writer and you're like, I want all the names to mean something, and then you get to your third script and you're like, what are names? Yeah, and you Google names, and then it gives you a list, and you're like, those seem like good names. Just plop them in there. You know what? Yeah. You know what I've been thinking about, Dave? Like that might be fun. I don't think this is like a thing you and I would do necessarily. I just think it's funny. Like movies that are based around bad or dated tech. Like that's a fun premise. You know what I mean? Like
I love the '90s futurism, like Johnny Mnemonic and stuff like that.
Annette,
Yep.
Like just all those movies where it's like
that's the net behind me.
Yeah, I know. Here's where's all here's the bad tech. Like Swordfish.
Swordfish.
2000s
tech.
Yes.
Is pretty special.
Yes.
We could do the Spy Kids.
Oh yeah. Ooh, Spy Kids.
But those are
Kids.
Guy Kids. Fuck me. Fuck.
Those are good though, right? Like those are good movies, aren't they?
They're probably good.
Guy Kids.
I saw most of them. But that name is so good.
Like they have to be bad enough for us to watch them.
Kids.
Guy Kids.
Shit. I think Spy Kids is too. It's too old.
I think it's too
self-aware.
Good. Yeah, I think it's too good.
It's made by a good director.
Yeah. Too bad. Guy Kids was a real home run. We missed it.
It really was.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Man.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man. I love it when we get to that point of the podcast where we're both daring each other. It's like, man, what's the next thing?
Bring It On was like a possibility.
Yeah, Divergent. Oh. I love how much of our podcast we spend just planning the next one.
Yeah, the pun.
Because it's so
the pun
fun.
that it's going to be.
Yeah, it's so fun. I didn't hate this that much. Like, I didn't hate this movie. It was boring. It was more boring than the other two.
This movie, to me, so they're getting longer.
Yeah, and more
I don't like that. But they are getting better quality, and I would argue
the music is better.
The music's better. And I think if Sharpay doesn't have Troy and Gabriella, then I think I'm going to like that one better if it's focused on her. I just think, like,
if she doesn't have to be an asshole, right? Like, if she doesn't have to fill that role.
Like, if we didn't know getting into this, like, I looked at the three and went, and they made a spinoff. Let's add that. Had that spinoff been like Troy's Big Adventure, I would have almost suggested we don't do it. But now I'm like, they knew what we knew. They watched these play out and went, we need Sharpay.
Yeah, because they waited a year. Like the Sharpay's thing came out 3 years later or 2 years later. Because this one came out in 2008, and then Sharpay's came out 3 years later. So they got a little distance from it,
right?
So they reflected. This is going to be more of a reflection, on what we've learned here. Yeah, you want to talk about economics or anything, Dave?
Economics of the world?
Yeah,
we forgot to do plugs again.
Well, you can. What is this? December. So my movie's been out for a bit. Sanibel. It's a documentary. I don't know if you can watch it yet, but it's going to be on Netflix at some point. It's a documentary about the seashelling industry and a hurricane that destroyed that whole cottage industry. I like it. It's good. So that exists. You can also find a podcast I do with Maggie Mae Fish called Lynchpins, which is us talking about the film work of David Lynch. We love doing it. It's a video podcast, so you can be on YouTube if you like it, or if you're like, I want the whole uncut meatball, you can get it on Nebula, where we have more additional content and stuff.
Right.
I don't know, Dave. Been writing screenplays, but they're not out there for you. You know?
Yeah.
They're just for you, nobody else.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't want to tell anybody about that. I do. Sorry, I want to also know I've been texting and talking to my niece, who's 11, about this.
Oh, good. How's she feel about it?
Her resounding response is, I haven't seen those. That's been her resounding response. I keep being like, it's mean what they're doing to Sharpay. And she's like, I haven't seen them. I have not seen them. One of my friends has. And I was like, pass it on to your friend. She's like, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. So she's the only person I thought I could talk to about this.
You asserted absolutely nothing into this conversation. You took a shit on momentum right there, man. We were going away. You're like, oh yeah, I talked to my local dietitian. Hasn't seen it. Oh, cool.
I think it's worth noting that like the core demographic for this movie
15 years ago,
thanks.
Dave.
No thanks.
Like, no, people who are 30 watched it. You got to talk to somebody who's 30.
Well, let's ask some 30-year-olds then. Who's watched it?
I just take a random child and be like, I talked to him, haven't seen it. Good news.
It's a children's movie, so I was like, I'll talk to children about it. Who else am I going to talk to?
You kicked all of our goodwill in the teeth with that one, Dave. Like you just steel-toed all the goodwill and professionalism right in the mouth.
I didn't know who else is like. She's a child.
Completely worthless comment, like utterly worthless. Worthless in a way that's like just like took away from me. Like you took
I'm
something.
So sorry.
From me.
Oh fuck.
Oh shit! What are you plugging? What do you got, man?
This is patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You know, it's the Patreon version of this podcast network. Support us. We'd love your support. It's very helpful and useful. It's how we can make these things. So if you like what you heard, go support us. Patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's it.
Yeah.
We'll watch.
We got one more. Somehow
support the arts. We got one more.
Oof.
And then we're done forever.
A 2-year hiatus or whatever it is. We go years between sometimes. So
yeah, we do, and we need that.
Yeah,
because otherwise,
really do.
Well, our bodies can't handle this.
This does take a toll on you.
We're both bleeding right now.
Yeah,
you guys can't see it. We're bleeding.
Yeah, I lost a tooth right before we started recording. I don't know if you've heard the whistling, but
gonna poop a tooth later.
I need it too, because otherwise I'm not getting that tooth back.
Oh yeah, you gotta pop it back in.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're done.
Me too.
Bye.
Bye.